Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, The Ancient Giant Turtle. His understanding is incredible, join the chat group. Chapter 1. The ancient continent is vast and boundless. Since the creation of the world by Pangu, there has been a catastrophe of ferocious beasts, 3 clans fighting for hegemony, a battle between Dao and demons, and Hongjun becoming a saint. So far, the world has respected the immortal way. At this moment, an island was moving on the North Sea. Not long after, a huge turtle head stuck out from the bottom of the sea. Shen Fei looked at the sky, hatred flashed in his huge turtle eyes, and said, "Can you really not become enlightened?" He sighed heavily and hid under the sea again. Good to wear or not. He actually traveled through time and became a giant tortoise. It was the ancient giant turtle whose limbs were chopped off to support the sky. Later, when he entered reincarnation and had his limbs chopped off, the Tongtian cult master accepted him as a disciple and became the holy mother of the turtle spirit among the 4 major disciples. It sounds like he is very glorious, and even became a Deluo golden immortal. But later, during the battle of the gods, he was brought back to his original form by the holy saint. He originally wanted to take him to the west to grow stronger, but his flesh and blood was absorbed by the nether blood mosquito, and he finally turned into a turtle shell. She wasn't even included in the list of gods because she didn't die in the list of gods. Shen Fei was originally just reading ancient novels, and suddenly traveled here. Not long ago, he realized himself and finally synthesized his own characteristics. Then he discovered that he was a giant tortoise. The giant tortoise of the prehistoric times should have been blessed by nature. It was a different species from the prehistoric times, and it was even said to be one of the ancestors of the tortoises. After several catastrophes and such a long period of time, he passively absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Now he has a huge body and amazing strength. It can be said that he can make the North Sea churn with just one move. But even so, he still can't transform. For species like them, which are born in nature, they often have inherited memories. Among the inherited memories, there are partial images of Pangu's creation of the world. Some may only see 1 pair of legs, and some may only see 1 pair of hands, so most of the innate being's transformations are not complete. The more complete the transformation, the more powerful the heal is, because the more memories are passed down. Therefore, before the human race appeared in the ancient world, they all transformed according to their own wishes. But Shen Fei knew that the most complete Dao body is the human form, but when he wanted to transform, there was always a force stopping him. And as his size increases, it becomes more and more difficult for him to transform. He remembered that many novels said that the giant turtle carried the destiny, but could not transform. It could only continue to grow in size until its limbs were cut off and the body entered reincarnation. Destiny, Shen Fei sneered in his heart. Ding, congratulations on your enlightenment. The will of the earth in your previous life felt that you were really pitiful and decided to give you some benefits. You have acquired abilities, and your understanding is incredible. Goldfinger has just arrived now. His understanding is incredible. Shen Fei shook his neck. What's the use now? He doesn't understand anything. Your understanding is incredible, but you need to learn some basics. If you say you can master elementary school mathematics to advanced mathematics, then at least you can master elementary school mathematics, and he has nothing. Even cultivation is just about absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth instinctively and increasing the size. It was completely different from what he imagined, with 5 chi in his chest and 3 flowers on his head. Without the accumulation of knowledge, there is no way to achieve enlightenment. It seems that I have to find a way to see if I can get the method of cultivation. But now at least there is hope, and Shen Fei's originally extremely depressed mood is a little cheerful. As long as he can find some basic training knowledge, he can really practice training. Ding, Wanji chat group invites you to enter the chat group, enter reject. It hasn't been long since I swam. The corresponding information appeared in Shen Fei's mind, and his mood started to get weird. Is this also a golden finger? Good guys, if any of you come here early, he might have found a way to transform. If you don't come, that's it. Come or 2. Wrong. Shen Fei suddenly thought that if this group was real, then he wouldn't be able to obtain all kinds of knowledge from the group members, and rely on his understanding to deduce the skills and transform into another form easily. Join in. A light curtain emitting gleaming blue light also unfolded in front of his eyes. Above the light curtain was an interface like the penguin group chat he had used in his previous life. The interface also followed, with several pieces of information popping up in succession. Ding! The ancient giant turtle has joined the chat group. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Prehistoric. What is the prehistoric thing? A giant turtle. Could it be that the newcomer is a turtle? A person from Wudang Mountain. I don't know, I thought only people could come in, but I didn't expect turtles could come in. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. He, I didn't expect that the person who came in this time was not a human being. Turtle, I made turtle soup before. I am Spider-Man. As long as all the people who come in are our friends, don't scare others at first, don't be a turtle. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, I was just kidding. Burn for me. Wow, a new person has joined, and there is one more person in our big family. I am about to continue my journey. Unfortunately, my father rejected my idea of entering Wano country again. Shen Fei looked at the 3 messages that appeared one after another. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. You can't tell who it is. There is a Huo Wu in almost every world, and people with this name usually don't look too bad. It's normal for them to lick dogs a lot. As for a person in Wudang Mountain, the one who can be called this is probably the ironclad Zhang Sanfeng in the flowing chat group. A flash of light flashed through Shen Fei's tortoise eyes. Zhang Sanfeng was indeed the mentor of all realms. Master Zhang must have a skill in his hands, and he didn't know how he could get it. Needless to say, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, I don't know which Peter Parker it is, there are so many Peter Parkers. If it is Spider-Gwen, that lizard man Peter is destined to die. The little cook on Peach Blossom Island should be Huang Rong, her features are so obvious. This burn it for me, combined with his words, it looks like the Pirate King, the fire dog ace who makes a mess of the natural fruits. In other words, Zhang Sanfeng and Huang Rong should be the only ones who can get the skills. No, there is another person. Shen Fei glanced at the group members. With him, there were now 7 people in total, which meant there was still one person who hadn't come out yet. Shen Fei glanced at the names of the group members. Guardian Spirit of Stone Village. The Guardian Spirit of Ishimura. I thought that there wouldn't be many powerful people in this chat group at the beginning. The most powerful people in this chat group should be Ace or Zhang Zhenren. It turns out that there is a giant crocodile in the fish pond. This is obviously Lu Shen. Shen Fei naturally wanted to use many techniques in Lu Shen's hands, but there was no response even when he entered the group, and he didn't know what he was doing. Forget it, if you have an understanding that defies heaven, you should be able to deduce a skill that can be practiced based on Master Zhang's skills. Ancient Giant Turtle. Just call me Shen Fei. Burn for me, Shen Fei. An Oriental, Mr. Zhang, your fellow countryman. Then you can take it with you. A person from Wudang Mountain. Okay, newcomer. My name is Zhang Sanfeng. This is the chat group of all worlds. We all come from different worlds. Currently, only 3 group functions are enabled: points function, red envelope function, and upload function. Points can be used to strengthen and exchange things uploaded by group friends. Red envelopes can be sent to group friends or exclusive group friends. Shen Fei raised his eyebrows. Strengthen. He didn't expect that there was such a function. In the chat interface, he quickly saw strengthen. Shen Fei's personal information appeared on the panel. ID, Giant Turtle. Plane, Prehistoric. Strength, 6 stars from all realms, innate creatures. Points required for strengthening, 100 million. Shen Fei looked embarrassed, mainly because he had no points. Prehistoric Giant Turtle. I don't have points to strengthen it. By the way, do you have any skills? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Newcomers, let me first tell you what realm you are in. The strongest ones now are Zhang Zhenren and Ace. They are 1 star in all realms. I, Xiaoshan, Peter, and Huang Rong are all sporadic stars. As for the guardian spirit of Shikyun, he has never spoken since he joined the group, and he doesn't know where he came from. Prehistoric Giant Turtle. The strength is 6 stars in all realms. By the way, do you have any skills? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. A person on Wudang Mountain. I am Spider-Man. Burn for me. Burn for me. 6 stars in all realms. How is it possible? The 6 stars of the realms are innate creatures. Ancient giant turtle. I can be considered the first turtle in the world, and I can also be considered an innate creature. By the way, do you have any skills? After Shen Fei finished sending the message, the group of friends fell silent. Don't be silent. I have posted it so many times and no one responds to him. Shen Fei continued to say something. Ancient giant turtle. If I guessed correctly, the guardian spirit of Shikun should also be between 5 and 6 stars. By the way, do you have any skills? A Taoist from Wudang Mountain. In front of a great god, it's nothing but a turtle. Great immortal turtle, do you know who the guardian spirit of Shikun is? Ancient giant turtle. Just call me Shen Fei, great turtle immortal is too ugly. I know, Lu Shen. The former immortal king was struck by lightning during the tribulation. He did not survive the tribulation, and ended up in a small village called Shikun. I ask again, do you have any skills? Guardian spirit of Ishimura, do you know me? Peach Blossom Island little chef, it's a long time to die. The guardian spirits that haven't appeared for so long have appeared, Lu Shen. Such a great reputation, I didn't expect there to be a god among our group. Ancient giant turtle, of course I know that I am a time traveler. I know the origins of all of you. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Guardian spirit of Ishimura. A series of question marks continued to appear, and this time even Lu Shen was no exception. Ancient giant turtle. Let's not talk about Zhang Sanfeng. Zhenren Zhang of Wudang Mountain had 7 disciples. Huang Rong, your father is Huang Yaoshi, one of the 5 masters. Fire Fist Ace, masters the burning fruit. Peter Parker, you love Gwen. As for Lu Shen, he just said it. As for Shaoshan, does the Wuhun Palace exist in your world? Huo Wu will always be my goddess, do you know this? Ancient giant turtle. Then you are the licking dog who likes fire dance, right? Oh, it turns out to be the 3rd world of Xiaojiao. Shen Fei directly revealed everyone's background. In the previous novels, these chat groups usually had a Zhang Daxian, who pretended to be a ghost, but unexpectedly there was no such thing this time. Then he will be the Zhang Daxian. But he doesn't need to fool him, he is indeed a 6-star existence in all realms. There is no need for high-level skills. What he wants most now is to get rid of his own destiny. Why bother with deception and abduction? Moreover, if the group members don't know their own destiny, then the chat group will be tasteless. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, what is dog licking? Ancient giant turtle, it's just shameless. People don't like you but you still stick to it. Can someone give me a book of exercises? Guardian spirit of Ishimura, aren't you an innate creature? What do you want the exercises for? Or are you a liar? Peach Blossom Island little chef, beware.jpg. Ancient giant turtle, I was born with such strength. I can only passively absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. I cannot gather strength and can only increase my size. Burn for me, what? He was born with 6-star strength. Guardian spirit of Ishimura, are you born with 6-star strength? Perfect plain. The willow tree that stayed in Shikun was completely scorched black, with only a few green buds sprouting out. The willow tree swayed slightly, and its own branches were in the space of spiritual consciousness. Lu Shen looked at the message sent by Shen Fei, with a trace of surprise on his beautiful face. Is there really a fairy king born in this world? Without cultivation, it is too outrageous to be born as an immortal king. This chat group appeared in her soul a long time ago. At first, she thought those enemies wanted to harm her, so she just watched without speaking. Slowly I learned that these people came from different worlds. She ignored them, because in her opinion, these people's cultivation level was too low, so low that even children who were just born in this world could beat them to death. Who knew that a person who just came in today could tell who she was in one word, and even told her where she was and why she was like this? Kung Fu. And what is a time traveler? Lu Shen murmured and returned his gaze to the chat group. At this time, the chat group was in a state of panic. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. First of all, I am not a licker. Secondly, is this true? Peach Blossom Island little chef. Also, what is a time traveler? Why does Turtle know our origins? Burn for me, I feel like I'm bragging. Shen Fei looked at the group of friends who were still doubtful and didn't bother to answer their questions. Lu Shen seemed to be suspicious too. It seemed that the chat group had to have some good people. Ancient Giant Turtle. Master Zhang, can you give me a book of exercises? Anything you want will do. I will definitely repay you in the future. A man from Wudang Mountain. Great Immortal Turtle, there is no need for this, it's just a technique, I'll look for it. Mainly because I uploaded too many exercises in order to gain points. The uploaded exercises are not allowed to be posted privately in the chat group. Ancient Giant Turtle, thank you. Shen Fei exhaled, and countless currents appeared on the bottom of the sea, and even countless undercurrents were stirred up. As expected, it was Zhang Sanfang, the Saint Master of all realms, and Zhang Sanfang had a broad mind. It didn't take long. A person on Wudang Mountain found it. A person from Wudang Mountain has sent you an exclusive red envelope, please check it. Shen Fei took a deep breath, and countless water currents and sea creatures sank into his mouth and turned into his food. It was time to see if this chat group could change his destiny. Receive. The next second, Shen Fei found that there was a book in front of him. It was very small, floating in the water, and wrapped in a shining white light. Good guy. You still have to learn on your own. Shen Fei was speechless. This chat group was not smart. Couldn't it be transformed into memories and directly instilled into his head? Shen Fei didn't waste any time, and the power of the soul surged out. He just couldn't transform. The power of the soul and the physical power were extremely powerful. Keep turning the pages. He quickly finished reading the book, because this martial arts knowledge was not very profound to begin with, but it seemed like a key opened a certain place in Shen Fei's mind. Xuanwu. After watching the Xuanwu Gong, you feel enlightened, lie down like a turtle, and temper your body. You use this as a foundation and combine it with yourself to start deducing. A light flashed in Shen Fei's mind. When he saw the name, he couldn't help but think of the word Xuanwu, and even started to deduce it there. The turtle and snake are coiled together, representing yin and yang. The turtle is yang and the snake is yin. The combination of yin and yang is the great road. Comprehending the true method of Xuanwu, can forge the true body of Xuanwu, cast the soul of Xuanwu, and integrate the yin and yang of heaven and earth. No, I am a prehistoric giant tortoise, not Xuanwu. This technique is only suitable for Xuanwu and not me. I imagine myself becoming a tortoise. Why can't such a huge amount of blood in my body be turned into a few particles and turned into a black tortoise embryo? When Shen Fei saw the description of Xuanwu in the technique, he immediately interrupted it, but other thoughts flashed through his mind. You seem to have other ideas about this technique, please change it. I have a feeling in my heart, black turtle particles. There are 840 million particles in the turtle body. If you open one particle in the turtle body, you can gain the power of a prehistoric black turtle. If you are successful, you can return to the starting point and open out the ancient giant. The power of the turtle. As Shen Fei's mind continued to deduce, at the same time, the terrifying blood energy in his body began to move in a mysterious trajectory. The place that was originally just flesh and blood began to be condensed inwards by a powerful force, turning into particles. The originally overwhelming blood was poured into the particles. Shen Fei himself was not sure where his power was. All he knew was that he was invincible in the North Sea. Even the Kunpang couldn't break through his own defense just because he could fly. Now this terrifying blood energy continues to enter the particles, and a tiny particle suddenly makes a cracking sound, like a beginning, and a series of crisp sounds are ringing crazily in Shen Fei's body. I saw only the island. A huge figure of Xuanwu actually condensed into the air, and the aura of the figure floated between heaven and earth. A huge black turtle. This black tortoise is lifelike, with the divine light shining on the tortoise shell, and some Dao patterns flashing on the tortoise shell, as if it was born from birth. After that, black turtles appeared crazily one after another. In an instant, the sky above the entire island was filled with countless black turtles. When counted carefully, there were actually 840 million turtles. The originally huge island was shrinking crazily, and mountains full of spiritual energy continued to collapse and fall into the sea. Countless creatures on the island are running in fear, birds and beasts are fleeing from here crazily, and some strange species are also rising into the sky, riding the divine light away from here. Cool. Shen Fei roared under the water, and the terrifying Shen Shi exploded in his eyes. He instantly felt that his body became much lighter, and his terrifying energy and blood turned into 840 million mysterious heads, turtle. At the same time, a stream of strange power finally appeared in his body, born from the flow of these 840 million black turtle particles. This was mana. He finally had his powers. Moreover, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth that he passively absorbed no longer increased his size, but was swallowed up by the black turtle particles, integrated into the energy in his body, then circulated and tempered in a mysterious route, and then swallowed and stored by the particles. All it takes is Shen Fei's slightest movement to unleash them all. As for this exercise, he named it, the Divine Turtle's Sea Suppressing Strength, which is a tribute to the Elephant's Prison Suppressing Strength. Are you saying your intentions are not high? The Sea of Chaos is also a sea. This is how he combines the operation method of Xuanwu Kung Fu with the concept of the Divine Elephant Prison Suppressing Power in a certain novel. One of the most important reasons why he couldn't transform was that he was too big. But since he cannot transform, his size will become larger and larger. The bigger it gets, the less it can transform, creating a vicious cycle. He also thought about refining the power in his body and reducing his body size, but again, he didn't know how to do it. It seemed that his own cultivation method was to continuously improve his body size. Now it's done through Turtle's Junhaijin. His size shrunk by half, causing the island on his turtle's back to collapse in half. He realized that the power that prevented him from transforming has been reduced a lot. Finally there is help. Shen Fei was extremely excited. With these two golden fingers beside him, he could support the world. Whoever wants to support whoever wants to support. But now his knowledge of cultivation is only Xuanwu Kung Fu, which is just a method of cultivation. Being able to push it to the black turtle particle stage is already the limit of understanding that defies the heavens. He also needs more and more skills, not just cultivation methods. There are also methods of fighting that are also needed. Otherwise, no matter how fast he cultivates, he will still be just a bloated fat pig in front of those saints, and he still needs to be groomed. Shen Fei opened the chat group and there were many unread messages. He didn't say anything and climbed up the stairs first. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. I just said that the ancient giant turtle was a liar. It has not appeared for a month now and deceived Master Zhang into a book of exercises. Are you saying I'm a dog licker? Can you call me licking if you like it? A person from Wudang Mountain. Everyone is a group of friends, it's just an ordinary martial arts book, it has nothing to do with it. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. But how did he know our origins? We only found out about each other's origins after chatting for a long time. He knew it as soon as he came in. Even boss Lu Shen knows it. Shen Fei glanced at Feng Xiaoshan and didn't care about the licking dog. You are reluctant to ride a bicycle, but others stand up and pedal. If you still want to worry about bicycles, there is no hope for such people. Turn on the upload function, upload your own Turtle Junhai Jin, and earn some points first. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. I don't know, but I'm not a licker anyway. The ancient giant turtle uploaded the divine turtle Junhai Jing and received 500,000 points. Chat group level increased to 2 stars. Chat group level increased to 5 stars. Enable new functions. The upload function unlocks memory upload. The red envelope function unlocks group red envelopes, and the points function unlocks the points deduction function. It was detected that the group member, Ancient Giant Turtle, took the lead in raising the group level to level 4, and the chat group was automatically elected as the group leader. In an instant, in the group chat interface, Shen Fei's name was marked with the 2 famous characters of the group leader. The Ancient Giant Turtle sent an exclusive red envelope to a Taoist priest on Wudang Mountain. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Another series of question marks. Burn for me. What happened? Why was the group level suddenly upgraded to 5 stars? The only time I remember it was when Zhang Zhenren uploaded his Pure Yang Wuji Kung Fu. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Didn't you see that Guigi uploaded that technique? Are you still calling Biggie a liar? A man on Wudang Mountain. Great Immortal Turtle, how did this happen? I gave him a basic exercise book, which was worth 200,000 points. Ancient Giant Turtle, you deserve this. Just call me Shen Fei. By the way, who did you call a liar just now? Seeing Shen Fei's words, all the group members fell silent, especially a certain licking dog. Shen Fei shook his head and refused to argue with them. Instead, he looked at the files uploaded by the group. They were also divided into many levels. There were countless scattered files from all realms and one-star files from all realms. They should have been uploaded by Zhang Sanfang and Huang Rong. There is a fault in the middle, and then, the divine turtle Junhai Jing, by 5 stars from all realms. But that's normal, after all, it's just a startup. But it's too outrageous for you to sell it for 1 million. Good guy, sell it for double. Lu Shen didn't upload any of it, maybe because she was afraid of this chat group. If she hadn't revealed her origin, she might have never come forward. But okay, this also made him the leader of the group. If Lu Shen is asked to raise the level of the chat group to 4 stars, his position as group leader will be gone. Without saying a word, he directly swept away all these martial arts and skills, which can be turned into the foundation for his heaven-defying understanding. After all, the turtle Junhai Jin now only has cultivation methods. He also needs to develop methods of fighting. At the moment he was redeeming it, a book of exercises kept appearing in his mind. It turns out that redeeming points has this effect. Single quote. You watched Sword and Palm of the Fallen Hero, and thought it was rubbish. There is no need to deduce it. Just settle down. You watched Jade Flute Sword Technique, and thought it was garbage. It's settling. You watched Blue Wave Palm Technique, and settled down. A steady stream of techniques was absorbed by Shen Fei, but he did not perform any deductions, but only enhanced his own understanding. Shen Fei was tirelessly absorbing the techniques exchanged from the group. He quickly raised his head because he sensed someone was coming. Kunpeng. Single quote. Why is this fool here? Shen Fei murmured in his heart that since he arrived at Deluo Jinxian, this guy has always come to tease him because of his speed and ability to fly, and he also wants to make him his younger brother. He could only be beaten passively, but this guy never dared to fight him in the sea. Otherwise, if a turtle claw passes by, this guy will have to cultivate for thousands of years. Shen Fei shook his head. Although his power was now refined, he still couldn't fly. Even if he mobilized sea water to bombard him, Kunpeng could easily dodge it. You have to figure out how to fly at top speed. Put your limbs and head into the turtle shell. This guy can't break his defense anyway. No. He suddenly remembered that the points in the group had an additional function, called deduction. If he used Wudang's Zhongyan ladder, plus the group points, as well as his own incredible understanding, could he deduce the method of flying at top speed? Shen Fei fell into thinking. The many accumulated skills he had just seen turned into a melting pot and began to think, with Wudang's most powerful movement technique, Tianzong, as the core. You want to improve Tianzong, and you suddenly remember that the divine turtle Junhai Jin should have the ability to fly quickly. The movement techniques you have mastered begin to mix and match on their own. Kunpeng Jishuo's past experiences are vividly before your eyes, and the words of the law of wind on its wings keep appearing in your mind. You have understood the method of extreme speed and the method of golden light. Shen Fei frowned. This golden light technique can be turned into golden light. It is indeed a very fast technique, but it is still far behind Kunpeng. Shen Fei opened the points panel and looked at the deduction function. A click of thought. Please select the exercise to be performed. Longitudinal golden light. Please place points. 200,000. Deduction in progress. In the sky, someone sent him a message saying that the size of the giant North Sea turtle had shrunk by half. Kunpeng instantly turned into a ray of light from his lair and arrived at the giant turtle. Mainly because Kunpeng knew about this guy's situation. One of the reasons why he couldn't transform was that he was too big. The island on his back was extremely majestic, with countless mountains and peaks all over it. There were even countless immortals and even golden immortals living on it. It was enough to know that this old man was alive. How old is the turtle? When he found out about it, he wanted to take this guy as his younger brother and use him as a mobile cave. But this guy's tortoise shell is too hard, and his body is huge and powerful. It would take him thousands of years to cultivate even one claw. After repeated harassment, he left. But he still made people stare at the giant turtle. Now something unexpected happened. Could it be that he got some treasure? Divine thoughts began to detect. A huge turtle shell appeared in front of Kunpeng's eyes in the seabed, but it was indeed much smaller than before. He was shocked, but he knew that this old turtle was born with a lifespan longer than him. If it were not restricted by heaven, it could only passively increase its size. I am afraid that he also has a place among the ancient Daluo. But even now, even Daluo doesn't dare to take a bite out of his claws. If he really transformed, he would do what he had done to offend him in the past. What if I come to him to sort out the cause and effect? Kunpeng flashed a ruthless look, and the Daluo Daoguo in his soul began to flash. In an instant, Kunpeng turned into his own body. A huge kun appeared in the air, with 2 pairs of wings on both sides of him. The words of the law of wind flashed on the wings, and with a swing of the huge body, the law of water appeared, bursting out with terrifying power, stirring the vast North Sea. The surrounding seawater was under the control of Kunpeng. The terrifying mana combined with the seawater turned into extremely sharp water blades. With enough power to cut through space, it crazily cut the turtle shells under the sea. Boom boom boom. Single quote. Under the attack of countless sharp blades transformed from seawater, the turtle shell began to flash with various Taoist inscriptions. Since he was born innately, the turtle shell on his body was the place with the most Taoist inscriptions, but Shenfei didn't know how to use it. But it will be activated immediately as long as it is attacked, which is why such a huge blood energy does not have any ferocious beasts or powerful powers to refine him. It simply can't be done. The yin-yang Bagua Zili on the turtle shell constantly removes the terrifying power from this water blade, but this water blade was refined by Kunpeng based on his own understanding of the laws of water and the Beiming seawater collected in the North Sea over the years. Transformed by Ming Zhen water. Beiming true water, one of the 10 true waters in the ancient world, contains the power to consume the soul. He knew that the spirit of the ancient giant turtle was much weaker than his body. Just try your best to kill him. In an instant, Kunpeng's soul suddenly sensed that the huge turtle shell under the sea suddenly disappeared. Kunpeng felt that his world was covered by a huge shadow. It was so fast that even his soul could not react, but his wings had already reacted. He spread his wings and turned into a ray of light to escape from the place. But the calculation was calculated mentally and unintentionally, and the huge scope was added. Boom. Single quote. The huge turtle shell instantly hit Kunpeng's tail. Even the body of Daluo Jinxian was shattered in an instant when faced with the blow from the giant turtle. The tail was directly dented, and the essence, blood and Dao Yun spread freely into the sky, dyeing the surrounding sea water red. Boom. Single quote. The giant turtle fell directly to the sea, and its huge body smashed down and set off endless waves. The surrounding waves seemed to submerge the entire sky. Kunpeng, who was escaping, turned around and said, "How can you fly?" Feeling his tail exploding under the impact, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. When did this guy master this method? In the past, this guy just used seawater to bombard him. Kunpeng has mastered the laws of water, and he can easily sense the movement of sea water. But from this collision, it was obvious that this old turtle had somehow mastered the method of flying at extremely high speeds. And the speed of an instant is so fast. Shen Fei's huge head looked up at Kunpeng, miscellaneous bird. Why don't you retreat quickly? Otherwise, the next time I hit you, it won't be your tail, but your head. This vertical golden light can indeed do it. Single quote. 200,000 points were used as fuel, and the golden light technique was deduced into the vertical golden light. This was passed down by Yuan Shi Tianzun. At that time, Yuan Shi Tianzun was already at the saint level, which means that this is the method of a saint. Unexpectedly, it was deduced by the deduction function of the chat group. Kunpeng's fish eyes were filled with uncertainty. Could it be that what the old turtle obtained is a spiritual treasure or magical power that increases speed? If this is the case, it will be troublesome. This old turtle is superior to him in terms of strength and defense. He was able to escape from harassment before because of his own speed and volley. This would be a bit tricky if he gets a spiritual treasure or magical power that can increase his speed. The wings trembled and disappeared before Shen Fei's eyes. When Shen Fei saw Kunpeng disappearing, he thought to himself, this bird is targeting him. Single quote. Shen Fei knew that Kunpeng would never give up due to his temperament. However, I have no intention of letting him go. There can only be one Lord of the North Sea, either him or Kunpeng. It's just that he needs go now. with his heaven-defying understanding and chat group, as long as he is steady, he can even achieve the final enlightenment of Hunyuan. After this deduction, Shen Fei knew that this chat group was not simple. At the very least, many functions may not have been developed yet. I still have a lot of time before I can survive the disaster, so just don't waste it. Shen Fei opened the chat group. First upload the golden light technique that you have learned in its low-end version. As for the vertical golden light, it cannot be uploaded because it was derived from the chat group. The ancient giant turtle uploaded the art of versatility and gained 5,000 points. The ancient giant turtle uploaded golden light technique and obtained 10,000 points. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Hey, good guy, the group leader has uploaded another 4-star technique, it's so terrifying. My Spider-Man, so envious. Fang Xiaoshan, didn't you say that the group leader is a liar? Why don't you say it now? Huo Wu will always be my goddess, that's because I'm young and ignorant. The group leader will always be my boss. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Hey, instead of licking your fire dance, are you starting to lick the group leader? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Huo Wu is called like, the group leader is called reverent, they all said that I am not a licker. Ancient Giant Turtle. These two techniques can be replaced. It is recommended that you start with the weakest technique, otherwise it will be too difficult. The World of Heaven and Dragon Slaying. In the quiet room at the back of Wudang, Zhang Sanfeng held a huge sum of money and was about to redeem it all after seeing Shen Fei uploading 3 sets of exercises. But after seeing what Shen Fei said, he just exchanged the technique of vertical movement, and a series of extremely mysterious skills appeared in his mind, and he quickly got started with his understanding. Use the true energy in the body to run the route. In an instant, Zhang Sanfeng felt his eyes blurred, and he left the quiet room in an instant and came to the flat ground outside. Yu Lianzhou, who was practicing martial arts in the back mountain, saw his master coming out of seclusion and appearing in front of him in an instant. Even he didn't feel anything and was shocked. Has master's martial arts grown to this extent? Single quote. He hurriedly came over and said respectfully, Master, what are your instructions? Nothing. Zhang Sanfeng shook his head, the next second. Instantly disappearing in front of Yu Lianzhou was stunned. Because he didn't even see the master's footsteps move, it was as if Zhang Sanfeng had disappeared in an instant. When Zhang Sanfeng returned to the quiet room, he exhaled and calmed down. This alone was more terrifying and powerful than all the movements he had learned. And he was just getting started. This vertical technique has 3 realms, shrinking the ground to an inch, taking 1 step 1,000 miles, and reaching the end of the world. He had just reached the state of shrinking to an inch. At first, he thought it was an exaggeration. After all, most of the martial arts he practiced were like this. After achieving great success, he could blast away mountains with 1 punch. It turns out that this vertical technique is still in the style of realism. A person from Wudang Mountain. Shen Daxian's skills are too mysterious. A person on Wudang Mountain uploaded his memory. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, this is so awesome. As soon as I saw him, Zhang Zhenren rushed out with a swish sound. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. This, no body skills or light skills can compare to this. Guardian Spirit of Stone Village. A giant turtle, leader of the group, can you tell us about the time travelers you are talking about and why you know who we are? Please teach me, and I will give you the skills as a reward. The ancient giant turtle uploaded the memory, perfect world, which conforms to the destiny mark of the group member, Ishimura Guardian Spirit, and turned into a destiny brand. Ishimura Guardian Spirit can be downloaded for free. Without the consent of the relevant group members, other group members are not allowed to download. The ancient giant turtle uploaded a memory of Tang San continent, which is in line with the group members. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, and is not allowed to be downloaded. The ancient giant turtle uploaded the memory, pirate leader, which is in line with the group members. Burn it for me, and is not allowed to be downloaded. Shen Fei directly packaged and uploaded everything about their world in his memory. Now that they have all joined the chat group, there is no need to think about what kind of existence they are. After they join the chat group, they become a living person. Although it was quite novel to be in the same chat group with the characters he saw in his previous life, Shen Fei was more worried about the upcoming plan of Kunpeng and the subsequent crisis that would support the world. However, this chat group will also help group members protect their privacy, which is still good. After all, no one in this world has any privacy. Are you willing to publish your browsing history and favorite URLs to the public? Even if you are hit by a car, you have to get up, format your phone and smash it to pieces before you die. Physical death does not count as death, only social death counts as death. Everyone seemed to be immersed in it. Shen Fei did not continue to speak, but looked at his authority as the group leader. Because Kunpeng came too quickly, he did not take a closer look after he became the group leader. The authority is not very large either. The first is that you can get a 20% discount on points spent using the group function, and you can also ban group members. It turns out that the group leader's upgrade gift package also has this thing, which is good. It turns out that after becoming a group leader, there is also a gift package for improving the group level. This is a reward from the chat group to the group leader. Open the 4-star gift pack, select according to the world where the group leader is located, and obtain the earthly evil magical power, Hudian. Open the 5-star gift package, select according to the world where the group leader is located, and obtain the 12 mid-grade innate spiritual treasures, the Dinghai Divine Pearl. This reward is not bad. As Shen Fei accepted the reward, a series of extremely mysterious running routes appeared in his mind, which contained the principles of space. Hutian can contain a part of heaven and earth in the pot, similar to Junyuan Immortal's universe in his sleeves and Tathagata's palm world, but Hutian can be regarded as a lower-level substitute supernatural power among them. It just gave Shen Fei a way to master space. This innate creature of his is really miserable. He cannot cultivate immortal power, condense the 5 qi in his chest and the 3 flowers on his head. Moreover, unlike other innate creatures, he does not have the ability to master various laws and magical powers. It was obvious that his turtle shell was engraved with various Taoist scriptures, but he just couldn't comprehend them because he didn't have immortal power at the time. There are also these 12 Dinghai Divine Pearls. They can't be the 12 that were lost. In this case, wouldn't they be linked to Zhao Gongming or Ran Dang? From the bottom of the sea, 12 beads shining with 5 colors of light appeared. Shen Fei's eyes were dim and uncertain. Soon the immortal power in his body emerged and began to refine the 12 beads. If you are contaminated with cause and effect, you will be contaminated with cause and effect, and you must take the remaining 24 and turn them into 36. He will definitely be tainted with cause and effect, and he is afraid of how to become enlightened. He is just being stubborn, not a coward. In the prehistoric times, every innate spiritual treasure had innate restrictions. Only by refining the innate restrictions could one master the innate spiritual treasures. Innate spiritual treasures are actually no different from monks. The restrictions in their bodies are actually the Tao contained in them, and when the immortals are refining them, they are also discussing the process of Tao. If you can refine their prohibitions, it means that the way you practice is close to them, and it will be easier for them to recognize you. There is an innate restriction in each Dinghai Divine Pearl, which is a low-grade one. 1 to 12 are low-grade. 12 pieces make a set. The 12 stones add up to 12, but because of the same origin, one more will be added to make it 13 innate prohibitions and a middle-grade spiritual treasure. 24 can be turned into top-grade, and 36 can be turned into top-grade. Every innate restriction inside contains the pure and incomparable laws of water and space. If Shen Fei can refine all of them, his progress in these 2 laws will advance by leaps and bounds, which is why many prehistoric creatures want to obtain innate spiritual treasures. In fact, for them, this is similar to a law understanding accelerator. Shen Fei opened his mouth and swallowed the 12 Dinghai Divine Pearls into his belly. He used a trace of his mind to control the immortal power in his body to break and refine them. And his eyes fell back on the chat group. Little chef of Peach Blossom Island. It turns out that I will like such a dull person in the future. Why should I call him Guo Jing? Crazy.jpg. A man from Wudang Mountain. I used to think it was a coincidence, but it turns out you are really Guo Zhang's mother. This is amazing. Have I seen you as a married woman? Little chef of Peach Blossom Island. Good fellow, you are so young. I saw my future daughter's suitor in the group. Shen Fei saw the information about these 2 people. He discovered it when he first joined the group, but he didn't make it public. So far, the program seems to be working well. 100-year-old Taoist meets the immature mother of a young goddess. I am Spider-Man, so this is where my name comes from. Soon I will go to Osborne Company for an internship. It seems that I will be Spider-Man soon. I don't know how powerful Spider-Man is. Burn, burn for me, will I become a sinner of the Whitebeard pirates in the future? Blackbeard, the Navy. Guardian of Stone Village. Will that little milk baby actually become such a terrifying existence in the future? Ancient Giant Turtle. At Guardian of Stone Village, don't panic, there will be something even more terrifying when the time comes, but that kind of existence cannot be said or spoken. A perfect world. Lu Shen used his soul to look at the little baby in the village holding a milk bottle and shaking it. How could such a cute little baby become the emperor of Wangtian, who would be arbitrary for all eternity? But thinking of Shi Hao's future encounters, Lu Shen fell silent. He single-handedly saved the netherworld and even died a few times. His life was too hard. No one could catch up with him. He was invincible throughout his life. Even if he wanted to have comrades, he couldn't. I have a chat group and know about his development. It will definitely help him better. Since he is invincible horizontally, he will continue to be invincible. Single quote. Lu Shen murmured in the soul space. But the time travelers, could the time travelers know our origins? Lu Shen still didn't understand why the group leader would know their origins, but looking at the skills he uploaded, I'm afraid this person is indeed not weak, and may even be stronger than himself. She is now thinking about what exercises she should use to express her gratitude, mainly because the kindness is too great. Because she had a glimpse of the future from this mark of fate. I thought that the group leader only knew a little about the origin, but who knew that there was actually a complete part of the future? Lu Shenfa, maybe he doesn't like the skills I have mastered now. It can be regarded as a good relationship. But in this chat group, you can upload some humble skills and get some points. Single quote. Mainly because now she has lost most of her powers and memories unless they are constantly restored. Otherwise, she would only remember some of her race's techniques, and the most powerful among them is her Lu Shen technique. The Guardian Spirit of Stone Village has sent you an exclusive red envelope, please check it. Guardian Spirit of Ishimura. Thank you to the group leader, but now I am still recovering, and I have very few skills. Only the Lu Shen method can catch the eyes of the group leader. Single quote. Shen Fei didn't expect that Lu Shen really kept his word and would be rewarded so quickly. A willow branch fell down, and Shen Fei's eyes suddenly shone with light. There were lines on the willow branch, and there was Taoist rhyme on it. Touches of strange Taoist rhyme kept sinking into Shen Fei's eyes. Words are only the carrier of Taoist rhyme, and the most important thing is where Taoist rhyme lies. You have watched the Taoist rhyme of Willow God's method. All grass and trees have withered and flourished. This is the law of heaven. It can also be said to be the skill of all grass and tree elves. It just depends on whether it is strong or not. You begin to understand the laws contained in it. The secret of Lu Shenfa is to be rejuvenated in destruction and come back stronger after rebirth. This is a kind of tempering and a unique practice. The law of life and the law of reincarnation are all included. You realize that the divine turtle Junhaijin needs a way to recover, and deduce it based on the concept. Shen Fei's eyes kept flashing with light. He didn't expect that Lu Shen would directly give him the Lu Shen method. Unfortunately, this method was more suitable for grass and tree type primitive creatures. This was the Immortal King's method, which was probably the method of Tai Golden Immortal. Already mastered some of the rules. But it doesn't quite suit him. He needs to develop a recovery method that is more suitable for him. Cut the knife to cut off the water will flow again, and the water will come back and forth, neither birth nor destruction, neither increase nor decrease, using water as the foundation, based on Lu Shen's method, deducing the method of recovery. You have enlightenment in your heart and understand the method of recovery, the immortal body of the black turtle. Live with water and destroy with water. Water is formless, neither increasing nor decreasing, neither dying nor destroying. Shen Fei's understanding of the law of life and the law of reincarnation was very obscure. Compared to the law of water, which he had at his fingertips, these two laws were completely blocked. Forget it, there will be another opportunity in the future that will become the fuel for understanding these two laws. Single quote. Shen Fei is not discouraged. Now his recovery ability has increased again, and as long as there is water, he can almost continuously recover himself, coupled with the Dinghai divine pearl he has now refined. Each bead contains an ocean. As long as it is refined, it will have 12 oceans in it. If that bird dares to come by then, blow his head off. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. No. Why did Huo Wu give his first kiss to that little Yakuza? I have been pursuing her for so many years. For her, I even suppressed my own realm. She just fell in love with a little fool with no good character. Peach Blossom Island little chef. What, your goddess gave her first kiss to someone else. So exciting. Elaborate. Shen Fei looked at the chat group, just silently refining the Dinghai divine pearl and practicing the technique of Hudian. He swallowed the endless spiritual energy of heaven and earth into his body, and then refined it into surging immortal power by the black turtle particles in his body. Immortals are divided into spirits. As for his original body, the great tortoise, it is said to be the best tortoise in the world in terms of refinement. With such a huge body, as well as terrifying strength and blood, otherwise it will not be enough to say that the limbs can be refined into the sky supporting form in the future things. But the energy and spirit in his body can be said to be weak and weak. Because all the spiritual energy of heaven and earth absorbed is used to increase one's own essence, it is also very likely that the cultivation method mastered by the ancient giant turtle is that it is better to cultivate essence. This has resulted in a situation where even if the problem is realized later, there is nothing that can be done about it. So now he needs to balance his energy and spirit, and then turn it into the foundation of immortality to condense his luck. Tempering the immortal power. But now with Turtle Junhai Jin, he can also continuously refine the aura of heaven and earth and his own essence to turn into mana, and mana is chi. In the past, passively absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth could make Shen Fei grow to such strength, but now he actively swallows it. After Beihai, endless spiritual energy appeared and turned into a vortex, which was swallowed by Shen Fei. A steady stream of mana that turns it into energy. At the same time, Shen Fei's mind was also comprehending the law of water at a very fast speed. After having the magic power, the law of water he used would no longer be used instinctively like before, which was simply called powerful brick flying. Life will get better and better. Shen Fei muttered to himself, and at the same time he was still comprehending the technique of Hudian given to him by the chat group. The Taoist rhyme was constantly flowing in his mind, the technique of Hudian. It can be regarded as a relatively powerful application of the laws of space. If he masters this magical power, it will definitely be of great use to his understanding of the laws of space in the future. You are comprehending the method of Hudian, which contains the Taoist rhyme of the laws of space, and you are lost in thought. You compare the laws of Hudian with the laws of space inside the Dinghai divine pearl, and you seem to have realized something. You understand the sun and moon in your belly. The mysteries of space laws flickered in Shen Fei's huge turtle body, and at the same time, flash, mana, and laws began to intertwine in Shen Fei's huge turtle body, as if in the deepest part of the abdomen, something suddenly appeared. 1 point. This exploded in an instant. A world suddenly appeared in Shen Fei's mind. The sun and the moon in the belly. Creating a world within his own body, although a creature cannot be born spontaneously, is a real world. However, the laws of this world are incomplete and need to be continuously improved by Shen Fei himself. When the world is perfected, Shen Fei's strength will also increase. Good guy. I don't know how long it has been. This innate spiritual treasure is really magical. No wonder everyone is pursuing this thing. It is a cultivation accelerator. Shen Fei looked at the law of water flashing in his mind and the mana gushing and flowing in his body, and it seemed that his spirit, energy and spirit should be unified. That's right, Jinxian comes standard with Qingyan. Even if Shen Fei hits him now, Deluo Jinxian's Taoist body will probably be broken, but if he really wants to do it, it can only be regarded as an innate creature, a bit like a ferocious beast during the calamity period. It only cultivates the body and does not understand the magic power and laws. You must not realize your own magical powers. No wonder it will be plotted by Hongjun or Tiandao later and turned into a thing that supports the sky. He is a serious partial subject student since ancient times. Now that I have cultivated the skills and understood the laws, with the heel and legs of a giant tortoise in the wild, the huge accumulation has been completed in an instant, and the true meaning of the waterway has evolved in the blink of an eye. There are happy clouds overhead, and among the happy clouds there are endless changes in the sea water, the flow of immortality, and various exposures emerging. This Qingyan is one of the symbols of Jinxian. That's right, even if I can smash Da Luo's body with one claw, I'm still a golden immortal. In other words, a lot of time has passed since he practiced this time. The people in the chat group, except for Lu Shen, must have all changed. Ancient giant turtle. Long time no see. Is everyone dead? A person from Wudang Mountain. This greeting from the group leader is really unique. My Spider-Man. What, who died? It turns out to be the group leader. He's not dead, and it hasn't been long. I'm going to Osborne Company tomorrow to become Spider-Man. Don't worry, I won't let Spider Silk be used to save Gwen this time. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. The leader of the group has not appeared for more than 30 days. Ancient giant turtle. Doesn't it mean that the flow of time is different? But yes, I have been napping for hundreds of years. If time flows at the same speed, I am afraid that only Lu Shen will be left in the group in the end. Shen Fei looked at the messages. It seemed that the time in each group was different, or that time would pass at the same speed only after focusing on the chat group. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Why? Why doesn't Huo Wu like me? Seeing this dog-licking look, Shen Fei couldn't help but send a message. Ancient giant turtle. Huo Wu obviously has a strong mentality. If you are very strong, titled Duluo, or even become a god, are you still worried that Huo Wu doesn't like you? Huo Wu will always be my goddess, what the group leader said. I want to become a god. I want to go to the killing city and steal Tang San's Shira throne. Shen Fei's eyes lit up. This was quite interesting. God Shira probably hasn't set his sights on Tang San yet, but if it's like Shira's divine wind laughs at the sky, and a licking dog turns into a murderous god. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. By the way, Tang San can practice the Tang Clan Xuandian Kung Fu. There are so many techniques in this group. If you choose Master Zhang's pure Yang Wuji Kung Fu, you won't be able to defeat him. What kind of rubbish purple devil eyes, ghosts and shadows? What kind of sect is Tang sect? Do you have my Peach Blossom Island cow? Huo Wu will always be my goddess, but I don't have points, so the chat group doesn't accept my self-created soul skills at all. Now those who can get points can only upload exercises, can't they collect other things? Such as soul bones or something. The more Shen Fei thought about it, the more he felt it was feasible. This was so interesting. When he read this novel in his previous life, he felt that this novel was completely cerebral palsy and that the love brain took over the world. If he were allowed to travel to that world, he would definitely kill all the lovers. It's a pity that he traveled through prehistoric times. But now there is a group member in that world, who just happens to watch a good show and test the function of the chat group. The ancient giant turtle sent an exclusive red envelope to Huo Wu, who will always be my goddess. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. What is the deal between the group owner and the dog licker? Why did the group leader give Ligo a red envelope? I want it too. I am Spider-Man. Exclusive red envelope, scary. Is this the power of dog licking? Burn it for me. I also want the red envelope from the group leader. Ancient giant turtle. At Huo Wu will always be my goddess, I am just doing a test. You'd better go to a relatively remote and deserted place to receive the red envelope and see what happens next. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Don't worry, I promise to complete the task of the group leader. Duluo World. Fang Xiaoshan, who was originally running in with his teammates at Shenfang Academy for a while and then taking a rest, saw that Shen Fei in the group sent him an exclusive red envelope. His eyes lit up, and when he saw Shen Fei's reminder, he quickly told his teammates that he was leaving. Aren't you going to train? We still have to deal with the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite competition in 2 years' time. The vice captain of the Kamikaze Academy team asked quickly. Train like shit. Fang Xiaoshan waved his hand. If things continued like this, there was no way he could win over Tang San's idiot. Later, he even used the wind and fire soul fusion technique, but it still had no effect. He can only defeat Tang San with the help of his group of friends. Fang Xiaoshan directly possessed his martial soul and rushed towards the distance at an extremely fast speed. The group leader asked him to find a place without people. He immediately thought of Hurricane Canyon, which was where he usually thought about creating his own soul. A place of skill. There was almost no one there. Soon, Fang Xiaoshan came to a place full of strong winds. He liked to stay here. Fang Xiaoshan came to the place where he often pondered soul skills and received the exclusive red envelope sent to him by Shen Fei. So insurance, I just don't know what this thing is, could it be something powerful? He clicked to claim it. Quickly check what you have in your hands. The whole person was stunned for a moment. A small stream of light appeared in front of him. What the hell? A little glimmer. The next second, there was a bang. Unprecedented roars and vibrations resounded throughout the Hurricane Canyon, and even continued to spread to the surrounding areas. As a recipient of the red envelope, Fang Xiaoshan had the power of the chat group to protect him. But there is none around. It was as if the whole world was spinning and the world was trembling. At this moment, the glimmer in front of my eyes began to change. It started from a little glimmer and spread to the surroundings, and soon a prototype appeared. A huge turtle, very, very big. Fang Xiaoshan swallowed and looked at the turtle that almost crushed everything in front of him. Wind. The giant turtle's originally absent-minded eyes were instantly filled with spiritual light. As soon as he said a word, an invisible force suddenly emerged. The giant turtle's spiritual light disappeared, condensed inward again, and turned into a stream of light that disappeared into Fang Xiaoshan's body. What on earth did the group leader pass on to me? Fang Xiaoshan swallowed. At this moment, he felt as if the infinite power in his body was about to explode. Ouch! Single quote. Fang Xiaoshan roared, and the martial spirit behind him instantly appeared, a two-headed wolf of Gale. The top mutated martial spirit. Terrifying power was emerging crazily. For a moment, he seemed to hear the sound of the waves of the sea, and at the same time, his eyes suddenly flashed an infinite sea, and above the sea. There are mountains. No. Not mountains. Fang Xiaoshan was stunned. It was a giant tortoise that was too big to be described, and the mountains were just dust that fell on his tortoise shell. Boom! The power of the two-headed wolf of Gale on Fang Xiaoshan began to shrink, and streaks of blue power began to emerge, finally covering his body layer by layer. An infinite giant turtle suddenly appeared above his head. The soul master who had already reached level 39 in an instant reached level 40 in an instant, and on this giant turtle, the first soul ring appeared in an instant, black. The second, third, and fourth are all black. Then it instantly became level 50, and the next black soul ring continued to be born, and then it was raised to level 60. The new soul ring appeared again, but this soul ring was blood red, and the blood light reflected Fang Xiaoshan's painful face. Terrifying power continued to pour into Fang Xiaoshan's body. Ah! Fang Xiaoshan yelled in pain. This soul power increased too fast. It felt like he was about to be burst by the gushing soul power, and the power that continued to flow seemed to feel that he could no longer bear this terrifying soul power. Instead, power surged into his body. A bright blood red light began to shine all over his body, and even pieces of tortoise shell appeared on his back, adhering to his back to form a tortoise shell. The boundless power like the sea was still being output, but it seemed that Fang Xiaoshan could no longer support it, either with the new giant turtle martial spirit or with his whole body. Rushing towards Fang Xiaoshan's original two-headed wind wolf. The original yellow and purple soul rings all turned into black in an instant, and at the same time, soul rings were being born continuously to reach level 60, and the last soul ring also turned into blood red. Fang Xiaoshan felt the power fading away, knelt on the ground and exhaled. Instead, he felt the overwhelming power in his body and couldn't help but let out a long roar. It's better to leave first. Fang Xiaoshan reacted instantly. Such a big movement might disturb many people, so he had to run away quickly before anyone was around, otherwise he would not be able to explain it then. The next second, Fang Xiaoshan left here like the wind. Fang Xiaoshan, who returned to Shanfang Academy, felt the tyrannical power in his body. He closed the window and used his two-headed wind wolf, black, 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 and red. This stunning blood red color is as noble and cold as a sea of blood, exuding endless majesty. However, Fang Xiaoshan did not immediately realize the changes in his soul ring. Instead, he put away the two-headed wind wolf and released the other martial soul. That's right, the second martial spirit. The ancient mysterious turtle. It was also black, 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 and red, but this blood-red soul ring burst out with even more terrifying pressure. Double martial souls. I have dual martial souls. Fang Xiaoshan slapped himself hard. I actually said that such a great group leader is a liar. A little bit of light actually gave him a second martial soul, and raised all his martial souls to their current extreme state. Even his whole body was covered with soul bones that were 100,000 years old. Is this an innate creature? What kind of existence is the group leader? And Fang Xiaoshan felt that this was not the limit. He became the Soul Emperor because his body could only be promoted up to this point, and there was still a part of the power hidden in his body. Why is it you, Xiaoshan? Fang Xuanzheng was looking out the window, wondering what the terrifying shock that just happened was. The next second, he felt the aura of the Soul Emperor appear in his grandson's room. He thought someone was going to do harm to his grandson, and when he rushed over immediately, he couldn't help but gasp. Because the Soul Emperor's aura he sensed just now was from Fang Xiaoshan. Fang Xiaoshan became the Soul Emperor. And what is this? Fang Zhengshuan couldn't help but rub his eyes. Black, 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 black and red, the last one is a 100,000-year soul ring. He has never seen a 100,000-year-old soul ring in his life, and now it actually appears on his grandson. This is too outrageous. And what happened to this martial spirit? It's not his grandson's martial spirit. That's enough giant turtle to cover an entire room. He remembered that his daughter-in-law did not have such a martial spirit either. Fang Zhengshuan listened silently as his grandson talked about the mysterious voice in his mind, the chat group, and the bit of light coming from the ancient giant turtle, which promoted Fang Xiaoshan to the realm of the Soul Emperor. And all the soul rings have become the limit that he can hold. In addition, there are 100,000-year soul bones all over his body, and there are also external soul bones. He became even more silent. If it weren't for the changes in his grandson's body, he would have thought that Xiaoshan fell in love with Huowu to the point of being crazy. But now the facts are before his eyes, and he did feel an extremely terrifying shock just now. It turned out that my grandson did it. After a while, Fang Xiaoshan's chest kept rising and falling. What kind of existence is that mysterious group leader? It turns out that a little bit of light can make someone become a soul emperor, or even give birth to a second martial soul. Could it be the legendary god? Quote, I don't know, but after finishing it, I think the god, well, he should be crushed to death by the group leader. Fang Xiaoshan said this, but he didn't say that he knew that he and others were characters in the world called the Three Little Continents. He had a chat group and gradually got used to this statement. But he was worried that his grandpa's mentality would break down, and since his grandpa was old, it was better not to be stimulated by this kind of stimulation. Besides, starting from today, his destiny will begin to change, so, Little Baku 3 Continents is for reference only. Tang-san, if he wasn't afraid of the Haoshan Duluo who was hiding in the dark, he would have crushed him to death. Crushed to death casually. Fang Zhengshuan took a deep breath. Listening to Fang Xiaoshan's description, he could hardly breathe. So what are your plans now? I'm still thinking. I plan to ask my group friends, and I also want to thank the group owner first. Okay. And you must be stronger than me now. Just make your own decisions on these things. Fang Zhengshuan nodded, and after finishing speaking, he walked out of Fang Xiaoshan's residence. His body was trembling a little, and it wasn't until he walked back to his office that he laughed loudly. My grandson has the appearance of becoming a god. Ha ha ha, the appearance of becoming a god. At this moment, Fang Xiaoshan has quickly returned to the chat group. Huowu will always be my goddess. The leader of the group is great, and there is no way to repay the kindness. From now on, I will be the leader of the group who licks the dog. The leader of the group asked me to catch the dog, but I didn't chase the chicken. The leader of the group asked me to go east. I won't go west. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, what exactly did the group leader give you? Please share it quickly. I'm so envious. Lemon juice. Huowu will always be my goddess uploaded a memory video. The group members began to download one after another and saw the scene where Fang Xiaoshan collected the red envelope, the huge turtle, and the second martial soul born by Fang Xiaoshan later, as well as the full set of soul rings and 100,000-year soul bones. A man from Wudang Mountain. So what kind of soul emperor have you become in your world? Huowu will always be my goddess. Ha ha ha, and she is equipped with 2 martial arts souls, and even a martial soul with 100,000-year soul ring, and even the second martial soul is the leader of the group. Ancient giant turtle. Stop, that's not me. I just sent you a black turtle particle. A black turtle particle should be able to elevate you to a titled Duluo or even forcefully enter the god level. But your body can't support it, and most of the power is still in your body, so you don't need to hunt the soul beast anymore. Just allow your body to adapt to strength over time and you will continue to improve. At the bottom of the North Sea, Shen Fei looked at Feng Xiaoshan's memory. It seemed that he had failed. What he sent was one of the black turtle particles on his body, but the power of the soul on him was wiped away by a force. Otherwise, he should be able to control the clone through the particles and descend to the hydrogen continent. Although it failed, but there were initial successes, because he also considered this situation, so he added some passive triggering mechanisms to the black turtle particles, such as strengthening Feng Xiaoshan's strength. In other words, it only does not allow the existence of autonomous consciousness, but it can passively set up some mechanisms to trigger. I am Spider-Man, black turtle particles. I read the introduction to the technique in the group, and there were 840 million black turtle particles. Couldn't this be 1/840 millionth of the number of the group leader? Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, 840 million. According to the group leader, his particles can directly turn Feng Xiaoshan into a god. Doesn't that mean that the group leader is equal to the total of 840 million gods in Feng Xiaoshan's world? Burn it for me, I'm envious. Sure enough, it's better to be the licking dog of the group leader. Prehistoric giant turtle. The prehistoric black turtle should be considered a god-level martial spirit. If you are willing, help me get the Poseidon trident for me to play with. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. The leader of the group orders that you will not give up even if you die. Duluo world. Feng Xiaoshan saw Shen Fafa's message and quickly sent it. God-level martial spirit. He didn't expect that one day this incredible wealth would fall on him. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Don't worry, group leader, I will definitely get it for you. A trident to pick your teeth, a Shira demon sword to sharpen your toenails, and a Rakshasa demon scythe to trim your pedicure. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Didn't you say you wanted to become Shira god? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Is there any connection between me becoming the Shira god and giving the Shira demonic sword to grind the feet of the group leader? Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. After you become a god, that will be your magic weapon. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. I need a divine weapon to be given to the group leader to rub my feet. If it's not a divine weapon, I still don't deserve it. If you don't have this qualification, you understand. Ancient giant turtle. Yeah. After Shen Fei sent the last message, he continued to dive. His attempt to seduce Chen Kang failed, but it didn't matter. It was just an attempt to use the power of the chat group. Now his power can be erased, which means that the power of the chat group is still higher than that of Deluo Jinxian. It seems that the status of the chat group is much higher than he imagined, but it seems that it does not have its own wisdom. After all, if I were tempted like this, even if I was the leader of the group and was smart, I would be punished a little. This time I kind of ignored the rule of giving out red envelopes. Red envelopes must be inanimate objects. But there is still no response. The chat group is more like a designed program, perhaps a bit like a special spiritual treasure. It's time to condense the giant turtle particles. I can almost transform into the innate Dao body. Shen Fei has more and more mana in his body, and his soul is constantly improving as he comprehends the laws of water. Although his energy and spirit cannot catch up with his essence, it is enough to support him in breaking through the restrictions on his transformation. The power of. Let him transform into an innate Taoist body. The immeasurable black turtle particles in the body began to bloom, and above the North Sea, a Qingyan covering the sky and the sun appeared. In Qingyunzhang, the laws of water, space, life, and even one of the most mysterious laws of reincarnation are all floating and rotating. In an instant, the black turtle particles that were first developed in Shen Fei's body roared into the sky at this moment, and the spiritual energy from the heaven, earth and seawater also continued to pour into Shen Fei's body. Terrifying fluctuations all around bloomed in the North Sea with Shen Fei as the center. The black turtle particles that were the first to open up began to grow in size and roared, roaring to heaven and earth. The original half-size body continued to shrink, and the terrifying and boundless energy and blood were concentrated, and all poured into the black turtle particles. Keep getting bigger, keep getting bigger. When Shen Fei's real size became smaller, the black turtle particles above his head began to grow larger. In an instant, it seemed as if there was another ancient giant turtle on the North Sea that could dominate the North Sea. This ancient giant turtle that was born was no different from Shen Fei's original one. Condensing the power of a prehistoric giant turtle into one particle, this is the horror of Turtle Junhai Jin. In addition, the other turtle particles have not degenerated, that is to say. Shen Fei's strength was nearly doubled. Countless waves around him were shaken by Shen Fei's explosive momentum. Countless creatures living in the sea were stunned by this terrifying momentum, and even died from the shock. Roar. Single quote. As a roar shook the world, Shen Fei's whole body began to emit a dazzling blue light, and countless Taoist texts began to emerge from his huge body, and they evolved towards the innate Taoist body, bursting out with terrifying and boundless power. The next moment, countless silver snakes and electric lights erupted from the sky. Dark clouds covered the sky, and the surroundings seemed to be destroyed. Countless creatures wished they could grow more pairs of wings and fly away from this area. Transformation calamity. Single quote. Shen Fei looked up and saw that Hongjun had just become a saint and hadn't even started preaching yet. In other words, his heaven was incomplete and he had not yet established a realm of calamity. There is only the calamity of transformation. And it is extremely weak. In addition, the higher the heel, the deeper the connection with the ancient world. Unless it is the type of innate treasure that is extremely defiant, most of them will not go too far. But the prehistoric giant tortoise implies destiny and cannot be transformed. If you transform into a chef, it means you have destiny to a certain extent. The thunder calamity is much more terrifying than the innate creatures with the same heel and legs. Thunder disasters were brewing in the sky, and the rolling thunderclouds signaled rolling, covering the void in all directions. The terrifying aura even caused huge waves to rise in the North Sea. Many great powers in Beihai felt the terrifying aura of thunder and calamity. Could it be that this aura of thunder and calamity had innate spiritual treasures or even innate treasures trying to overcome the calamity? North Sea Abyss. In a vast palace, a giant coon of unknown height lurks in the water. It is imprinted with the law of water and absorbs the spiritual energy from the water of the North Sea into his body. There is also a huge hole in this kun's tail, with drops of blood gathering there. Is that guy going to transform? Kunpeng was a little angry, but also a little surprised that this guy was actually about to transform. Naturally, he also knew the heels and feet of the giant tortoise of the prehistoric times. The heels and feet of the first turtle born in the prehistoric times could even be traced back to the ferocious beast Liang Jia, which was even further away than he was. But being unable to transform was ultimately a sore point for this guy. After Kunpeng successfully transformed into the Deluo Dao fruit, he once measured the number of days. It was calculated that it was destiny that the giant tortoise could not transform. That's why he dared to flirt with such an ancient existence, but this old turtle actually went against the will of heaven. This seems like an opportunity. Kunpeng's eyes flickered. The old turtle walked against the sky, and his body transformation was stronger than Daluo's body, which would definitely add another 3 points to the difficulty of the disaster. Adding the two together, I'm afraid the old turtle will suffer a lot this time. Even if he survives the thunder tribulation, he will definitely lose his vitality. He has already formed a causal relationship with him. This is the best opportunity to kill him. If he kills him, not only has the cause and effect been resolved, but he can also obtain the old turtle's flesh and blood in its shell, whose defense is not weaker than the innate spiritual treasure. It's a bloody profit. If you think about this carefully, if God doesn't take it, you will be blamed for it. If you don't take it, you will suffer disaster. Kunpeng didn't care about his wounds. Last time it was because he didn't know that the old turtle had mastered the method of extreme speed. Now that he was wary, he had a great chance. Immediately he spread his wings and soared out of the sea, heading towards where Shen Fei was. Beihai Dragon Palace. This generation of the North Sea Dragon King was listening to the report of the shrimp soldiers and crab generals, and heard that the commotion was caused by the giant tortoise. He was stroking his dragon beard and thinking about something. Prime Minister Turtle next to him saw the expression on the Dragon King's face and couldn't help but ask, is your majesty planning to make a fuss about this matter? Since the great catastrophe, our dragon clan showed weakness. In order to make up for the karma left over from the previous war, the dragon ancestor swore that the dragon son, would always suppress the water attribute. Although some of the karma has been resolved, it is still entangled with my dragon family all the time. The two Lich clan wantonly humiliated our dragon clan and captured the dragons for food. It might be a good thing if we can form a good relationship with the power of Beihai. Quote, Kunpeng has already gone, and the two sides will definitely fight again this time. Does your majesty intend to help one of them? The dragon king of the North Sea thought for a while. Let me go and have a look. See who I can help. Prime Minister Turtle carefully reminded, Your Majesty, it is always better to provide help in times of need than to add icing on the cake. The dragon king of the North Sea glanced at Prime Minister Turtle, turned into a golden dragon, and drove away. Prime Minister Turtle shrank his neck and looked at the place where Shenfei was crossing the tribulation with some worry. Although the ancient giant turtle was said to be the ancestor of turtles, he did not have any descendants. He was just said to be the first turtle. But the Prime Minister Turtle is a black turtle, and he and Shenfei can be regarded as belonging to the same turtle clan. He also knew that Shenfei's heels were extraordinary. If he could successfully transform, the turtle clan would have another powerful figure. This was why he spoke out just now. Shenfei also felt two powerful auras approaching him, one of which was his old enemy, Kunpeng. With this guy's character, needless to say, he will definitely seize this opportunity. As for the other one, Shenfei shook his paw. Dragon clan. Aren't most of these guys still licking their wounds? He also wants to take a share of the pie. This dragon king of the North Sea is also Daluo. Although the dragon clan said that after the dragon, Phoenix and Han tribulation, their vitality was severely damaged, they even made an oath of heaven in order to make up for the prehistoric times. But a skinny camel is bigger than a horse. After all, he is the dragon king of Beihai. It's normal for Daluo Jinxian, but I don't know if he is an enemy or a friend. Forget it. No matter what their plans were, their plans failed. Shenfei's eyes flashed with joy. This lightning disaster came just in time. The rest of his black turtle particles still lacked energy, so they were sent to him. However, it is a pity that he did not understand the law of devouring and could not directly swallow the power of the law in the thunder tribulation, but relied on the law of water and his own black turtle immortal body. After the power of the law inside is eliminated, refining it is the same, it is just a lot more troublesome. It seems that I have to find a chance to realize the magical power similar to the hell furnace. Boom. Single quote. With the sound of an explosion, the thunder from the sky finally fell, and instantly struck down a thunder with a destructive aura. Chapter 11. Countless thunders began to fall crazily with the aura of destruction. Although such a huge sea of thunder, the falling targets were all Shenfei, who just watched quietly. Boom. Single quote. A bolt of thunder suddenly struck him. Countless laws of thunder and a little law of destruction, accompanied by terrifying thunder energy, wanted to obliterate Shenfei's body, but the law of water in Shenfei's soul began to resist. The three immediately started fighting in Shenfei's body. Terrifying power continued to intertwine and break into Shenfei's body, and suddenly there were countless thunder and lightning intertwined on Shenfei's body. Relying on water, water becomes invisible. Shenfei muttered to himself, and began to mobilize his magic power. He was not afraid of anyone even with the North Sea. The immortal body of the black turtle only needed the presence of water, and he could continue to recover. Although he can't do what Styx said, the sea of blood never dries up, and the Styx never dies. Single quote. But unless the particles in his body can be destroyed in an instant, he can continue to recover with the help of the black turtle's immortal body, and he still has the Dinghai divine bead in his body. 12 seas supported his recovery. You have watched the calamity of transformation come, you have realized the law of thunder in the thunder, and you are thinking about whether you can combine. You begin to realize that the law of water and the law of thunder begin to blend. You understand the divine thunder of Kuishui. The two laws continue to blend. You have understood the Renshui divine thunder. Shenfei felt the law of thunder in his body, and his heaven-defying understanding continued to be stimulated, while his Dao body was constantly destroyed and then restored. The law of thunder and the law of destruction continuously attack the law of water, but the law of water is tough, and Shen Fei is still there, providing a steady stream of law of water. One is powerful but is rootless water, the other is weaker but has an endless supply. In addition, Shen Fei has now mastered two magical powers of water and thunder, and the law of thunder is still weakening the damage to him. The two go back and forth like this. Shen Fei simply sat cross-legged in the void and allowed the thunder from the sky to enter his body. His body continued to explode and recover. As long as the laws inside were obliterated, the thunder and lightning were absorbed and instilled into the black turtle particles in his body. Is this guy looking for death? Why didn't he use his body to withstand the thunder calamity, but actually allowed the lightning calamity to enter his body? Kunpeng, who came from Kunpeng Palace, stared at Shen Fei with his fish eyes. Full of doubts. For them, the innate Taoist body is just to make it easier to practice and comprehend the laws. But in fact, their actual combat power is the strongest, especially for things like the transformation tribulation. They only need to trigger the transformation tribulation at the very beginning, and they can transform naturally after surviving it. Because the most terrifying thing in the thunder tribulation is not the power of thunder, it is just a kind of spiritual energy of heaven and earth. In essence, the law of thunder and the law of destruction condense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into reality. What is truly terrifying are the two laws inside. Once it enters the body, it may even destroy the soul, destroy the mana, and damage the physical body. Therefore, when going through tribulations, they almost always use the original body to overcome them, because the original body is faster than the innate Tao body in terms of the strength of the body and the speed of invoking laws. But Shen Fei, who directly used his innate Taoist body to withstand the thunder calamity, was just looking for death. What does it have to do with me? I couldn't ask for it more. Single quote. Kunpeng quickly put his doubts behind him. After surviving the tribulation with this innate Taoist body, the damage suffered by Old Turtle would definitely be higher, and he would be the one who would benefit by then. But this thunder tribulation is too powerful. If I enter rashly, I will be locked by the aura of heaven. I must wait for the thunder tribulation to pass before I can take action. Soon, Kunpeng looked in another direction, Old Loach. He also sensed the aura of the Dragon King of the North Sea. His heels and feet were much stronger than that of the Dragon King of the North Sea, and his cultivation was also much stronger, but his cultivation was only one aspect of his combat power. The strength of the laws you understand and the spiritual treasures you possess will also determine your combat power. The Dragon Clan doesn't have much of anything now, it just has a lot of treasures. On the way here, the Dragon King of Beihai was thinking about what Prime Minister Gui said. It is indeed better to provide help in times of need than to add icing on the cake, and Kunpeng has been in Beihai for so long. Combining Kunpeng's character and the relationship between their Dragon Clan and Turtle Clan, it does help that the prehistoric giant turtle is a better investment. But when he saw the ancient giant turtle transforming into a Tao body to survive the tribulation, he was shocked. This turtle couldn't have been sleeping for so many years. How could it possibly use the Tao body to survive the tribulation? Something bad happened. Quote, the Dragon King of the North Sea also thinks like this, or in other words, most innate creatures in the prehistoric times thought like this. How can it be possible to use the innate Tao body to overcome tribulations? Shen Fei naturally didn't care about the thoughts of this bird and a dragon. He looked very miserable on the outside, because there was a bright thunder erupting all over his body, and wounds exploded, and blood splashed with Daoyun. But in his body, the thunder power whose laws had been wiped out was constantly being swallowed up by the black turtle particles, and the black turtle particles began to grow bigger and bigger. Channels of terrifying Shen Shi flowed out of Shen Fei's body, and then swallowed back. There were two loud sounds of bop. The three-headed ancient giant turtle kept roaring inside Shen Fei's body, and the laws around him were shaken by the power spreading from Shen Fei's body. But because he was crossing the tribulation, the extremely violent aura of this tribulation covered up Shen Fei's gradually increasing aura. Kunpeng and Beihai Dragon King who were outside only saw Shen Fei becoming more and more miserable, because they did not dare to use their souls to sense Shen Fei's situation. During this tribulation, once the power of your soul is sensed by heaven, it is very likely that you will also be included in the scope of tribulation. Even though the thunder and lightning in the sky continued to strike down, trying to destroy Shen Fei's life, a steady stream of seawater was absorbed by Shen Fei to restore himself. As time goes by, the thunder calamity in the sky has completely lost its power. Eventually it dissipated. Next moment, a phantom flashed in an instant, and a huge mouth burst out with terrifying power. It opened its bloody mouth, and its sharp teeth were like rows of sky blades, and it suddenly swallowed Shen Fei. Kunpeng seized the opportunity just after the thunder tribulation ended. This was the best opportunity. He didn't even have time to let Shen Fei transform into his original form. He directly used the Kun body, the largest among his 3 Dao bodies, to bite Shen Fei hard. If Shen Fei hadn't transformed yet, his body would be so huge that even Kunpeng's Kun body wouldn't be able to swallow it, but now Shen Fei is outside with his innate Dao body. It was enough for him to swallow in one gulp. As long as it is swallowed into the belly, the various powers of his body are enough to refine Shen Fei. Kunpeng, you are seeking death, Shen Fei said coldly, as 3 huge phantoms of ancient giant turtles erupted from his body, and the terrifying power of the 3 ancient giant turtles were all concentrated on his fists. Moment. Shen Fei punched out. The infinite and terrifying power of An Han was also released. In an instant, the surrounding laws were shaking, and the surrounding seawater was shaken by this terrifying punch, creating boundless waves. Kunpeng's eyes were horrified. This guy's aura did not weaken after the thunder tribulation, and even increased. The protagonist's main world is still prehistoric, and the chat group and enlightenment also serve the protagonist. After all, it's a prehistoric period, but there are also plots from other worlds. Boom. Single quote. Kunpeng swung his tail in an instant. Kun's body was in his most powerful form. With one movement of Kunpeng's tail, he could stir up the North Sea, coupled with his terrifying speed. Both match. He is definitely not weaker than this old turtle in terms of strength, and his understanding of the law is definitely stronger than this old turtle. How long has it been since then? How could the old turtle have been greatly enhanced? This time he deliberately attacked in a sneak attack, and his physical strength was stronger than that of the turtle, and the turtle was so careless that he directly collided with his Dao body with his innate Dao body. If he used his giant turtle body, he might still have to retreat, but now. The advantage is mine. Kunpeng laughed wildly in his heart. The tail and fist collided in an instant. There was a sudden roar in the world, and 2 similar laws of water began to collide, and countless patterns lit up brightly where they collided. The power of the terrifying impact shook the world, and the force of annihilation generated by the collision of laws raged in all directions. Countless creatures in the North Sea fled for fear of being swallowed up by the terrifying aftermath. Waves of immortal power appeared in front of the North Sea Dragon King. The same law of water blocked the aftermath of the collision, and a figure was seen flying towards the distance. It's Kunpeng. How can it be? Kunpeng exclaimed, full of disbelief. His collision with the law was actually weaker than this turtle. In other words, this old turtle's mastery of the laws of water actually surpassed him. How can it be? Moreover, with this terrifying and boundless power, and the aura that has not been weakened at all, this guy can survive the tribulation without anything happening. The next moment, a golden light exploded. Shen Fei instantly appeared in front of Kunpeng and punched his fish head. Kunpeng turned around and turned into a giant rock that covered the sky and the sun. He blocked it with his wings. The golden light flows on the wings that cover the sky and the sun, and the feathers are combined with immeasurable Taoist rhyme, turning into layers of immortal light curtains. The vast and boundless terrifying power was all concentrated on the fist, and the 5 fingers flashed with countless divine lights. The void shook, and the universe was shattered, just like the fist transformed by God struck the wings. Boom! The terrifying aftermath appeared again, and the surrounding spiritual energy was infinitely broken and then restored. The power of the 3 prehistoric giant turtles instantly broke through the light curtain above their wings, and the boundless power struck Kunpeng's wings. The surrounding void was shaking, and even a little bit of power stirred up countless waves. The energy and blood soaring into the sky enveloped the entire North Sea, and all creatures were frightened. What kind of existence was this? This energy and blood was so terrifying. The Dragon King of the North Sea looked at the energy and blood that was like the sea, and his eyes were filled with shock. According to his inherited memory, even ferocious beasts could not have this energy and blood. The same goes for Kunpeng. Among the spirits, energy and spirit, the method of increasing and using the essence is the simplest. It is nothing more than to increase the strength. When faced with mana and soul, this method of using power can be called inferior. But the problem is, this is under the same amount. Why did the innate Dao body contain such terrifying energy and blood without collapsing? This extremely terrifying energy and blood instantly suppressed him like a giant mountain, restricting his movements. Many thoughts flashed through Kunpeng Yuenshan, but at this time, Shen Fei's next punch had already arrived. Aha! Single quote. Kunpeng opened his mouth and spat out, and a ray of Zhan Yuan glow leapt out, manifesting a small palace. This was his companion spirit treasure. Kunpeng's nest is also called Kunpeng Palace. The top-grade innate spiritual treasure, the palace is completely white, with countless laws of water and wind engraved on it. The two laws are intertwined, bursting out the power of the top-grade innate spiritual treasure. Buzz. Single quote. The palace trembled slightly and became extremely huge in an instant. The palace that covered the sky and sun suddenly turned into 90,000 feet and stood in front of Kunpeng. The fist instantly hit Kunpeng's nest. Bang. Single quote. The fist hit the light curtain outside Kunpeng's nest, causing an endless explosion and roar. The power of terror and destruction swept across the world, shattering countless spiritual energy around it, and the seawater shook, forming an infinite giant wave. Crack. Single quote. With a crisp shattering sound, the light curtain outside Kunpeng's nest shattered instantly. The whole palace was crumbling. Boom. Single quote. Kunpeng's nest instantly flew upside down and fell to Kunpeng's side. Kunpeng felt that in Kunpeng's nest, his soul imprint was shaking crazily under the turtle's fist. Kunpeng saw that it continued to turn into golden light and rushed towards him, and a fist enlarged in front of his face. The next second, Kunpeng Palace stopped in front of him again. But as Shen Fei opened his mouth and vomited, a stream of light burst out. The stream of light carried immeasurable charm, and the surrounding space was constantly vibrating. It collided hard with Kunpeng's nest. He stopped Kunpeng Chao, who wanted to move. Not good. This old turtle also has an innate spiritual treasure. Single quote. Kunpeng spread his wings and wanted to leave, but Shen Fei, who burst out with golden light across the ground, was no slower than him in a short period of time. Kunpeng only had time to exclaim. His body was hit by Shen Fei's fist in an instant. He only felt that the terrifying and boundless power instantly penetrated his limbs and bones. This terrifying power even shook his soul crazily. His Dao fruit is constantly shining with the two laws of feng shui to offset the damage to the soul. The power of 3 giant turtles from ancient times, as well as the power of 1 giant turtle from the ancient times, blasted a big hole out of Kunpeng's body, let alone 3. Moreover, his Peng Shen's defense was far inferior to that of his Kun Shen. The moment Shen Fei struck down with his fist, Kunpeng's body exploded, and all his blood and essence flowed freely into the world. The next second, Deluo Daoguo flashed, and Kunpeng reappeared, but his aura was much weaker. Kunpeng's eyes showed hatred, and he spread his wings and was about to escape. All of a sudden, a large seal suddenly appeared on Kunpeng's head with the power to suppress everything, and moved towards Kunpeng to suppress it with terrifying boundless pressure. Let Kunpeng's speed slow down for another moment. And this moment, let Shen Fei's fist come and fall on him again. Boom. Single quote. It was so majestic that it was enough to shake the North Sea, and the force that shook the void struck Kunpeng again. Boom. Kunpeng's physical body exploded again, leaving a Deluo Dao fruit flashing in the void, and he didn't even dare to condense his physical body again. Instead, Deluo Daoguo, who used Kunpeng's nest to cover himself, fled like crazy. Shen Fei waved his hand, and the blood and origin of countless Kunpeng condensed on his hand, turning into a small Kunpeng and swallowed it by his mouth. Then he looked at the person or dragon who had just taken action, and raised his eyebrows. Dragon King of the North Sea. I've seen fellow Taoist turtle. Just call me Guiyuan. This is Shen Fei's Taoist name, Gui Tongui, and it means unity, and Yuan also means returning to one. It can be regarded as his path to travel throughout the wilderness. Fellow Taoist Guiyuan, we do not have an independent Taoist name. If we serve as the Dragon King of Beihai, we will both be called Guangs. I have met fellow Taoist Guangs, and I would like to thank fellow Taoist Guangs for his help this time. Shen Fei didn't expect that Guangs, who had been watching the show, would take action at the critical moment. Kunpeng was exploded twice by him, and this time he lost a lot of his essence, blood and essence. As for killing, Da Luo is not that easy to kill. Even Da Luo is extremely difficult to kill without suppressive power. Kunpeng suffered a big loss this time, which was already an excellent thing. If fellow Taoist Guiyuan has time, you can go to Beihai Dragon Palace to have a chat. I will welcome you along the way. Since the ancient catastrophe, our Dragon Clan and Turtle Clan have been on good terms for generations. Quote. Guang's transformed into an innate Taoist body and smiled. It seemed that he made the right choice in that moment. Although it is not as good as stopping Kunpeng from the beginning. But at the last moment he chose to take action. He made an enemy of Kunpeng and made a good friend of Guiyuan. At present, it seems that Guiyuan is much stronger than Kunpeng. But this time fellow Taoist Guang's offended Kunpeng. With his character of retribution, there will be many more causes and effects in the future. Quote. It doesn't matter, although our Dragon Clan is weak, we are not allowed to be bullied by others. Moreover, this guy Kunpeng has never taken our Dragon Clan seriously. My favorite thing is to eat creatures with dragon blood. This is also the reason why Guang's chose Shen Fei. This guy Kunpeng relied on his extreme speed and the fact that the Dragon Clan had retreated. Although he does not eat real dragons, he likes to eat sea creatures with dragon blood that are under the control of the Dragon Clan. Okay, when I have time in the future, I will definitely go and discuss Taoism with fellow Taoists. Shen Fei thought for a moment and nodded. Although the Dragon Clan is indeed declining due to the Great Tribulation and is burdened by karma, he knows that the Dragon Clan's potential will not be weak in the future and will surpass the human clan. In addition, the Dragon Clan guards the water attribute, so they have territory and spies everywhere. It is also a good choice to make friends with the Dragon Clan. Even if he wants to visit Sihaihan in the future, he can still find connections. When Guang's heard Shen Fei's words, a smile appeared on his face. Okay, then I'll wait for you fellow Taoist. After finishing speaking, Guang's did not continue to disturb him and transformed into his true form and sneaked into Beihai. He knew that Shen Fei must have a lot of things to sort out after surviving the catastrophe. It's already good to have some connections. Shen Fei looked up at the sky and exhaled. It can be regarded as reversing his destiny a little bit, but transformation cannot fundamentally cut off the reason why he will support the world in the future. The most important thing is, in the entire prehistoric period, only his limbs were most suitable to replace Mount Bujo and continue to support the world, even if he could transform. If he didn't have the strength, he would eventually be forced back to his original form and have his limbs cut off. In ancient times, we talked about cause and effect, luck, and merit, but in the final analysis, strength was the most important thing. Sure enough, the innate Taoist body can comprehend the laws very quickly, and it also turned my turtle shell into an innate spiritual treasure. A small turtle shell appeared in Shen Fei's hand. Countless patterns shone on the surface of the turtle shell. After Shen Fei transformed into the innate Taoist body, the hardest turtle shell on his body automatically became his companion spiritual treasure. It has its own real name, Ancient Turtle Shell. And it comes with 40 innate restrictions. The best innate spiritual treasure, this is the benefit of a powerful heal. The innate spiritual treasure that he transformed into has directly become one of the top magic weapons in the world. With the law of defense and the law of water. Although the law of defense is less mysterious than the laws of fate, reincarnation, etc., if taken to the extreme, it can prevent the power of the world. Not bad. This is one of his trump cards. Kunpeng may have recognized what the bead was before, and he will definitely be on guard against it in the future. In prehistoric times, it all depends on who has the most trump cards in the end. It's better to find a cave to rest first, and then later find the cave paradise and use it as your own dojo. Shen Fei glanced at it and casually landed on an island in the distance that was rich in spiritual energy. He waved countless crystal stones condensed with spiritual energy from the bottom of the sea and landed on the peaks of the island to form a majestic palace. Shen Fei hid his ancient tortoise shell in the void and enveloped the island. Countless lines emerged in the void and vaguely outlined a giant tortoise pattern before disappearing. On the side of the door is written the word, Guiyuan. Entering the palace, he sat cross-legged on the auspicious clouds. I don't know if anything interesting will happen to that group of idiot friends. Part of Shen Fei's mind continues to understand the laws. Now he is majoring in the laws of water, the law of thunder, the laws of space and the laws of defense that he is best at. When he is almost comprehended, he will break through the Tai Golden Immortal. And the speed of his realization is not slow. First of all, after his understanding changed, he realized the law very quickly, and with the Dinghai Divine Pearl, as long as he refining the innate prohibition, he would realize it at the same time while refining. This is the mystery of the innate spiritual treasure. Shen Fei's mind fell on the chat group. Ancient Giant Turtle. Long time no see, everyone. Is anyone dead? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. My favorite group leader, your little brother is not dead yet. Moreover, he has been promoted to Soul Saint, and he has also obtained the vast sea universe cover. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. My dear, I don't usually see you coming out, but you come out as soon as the group leader comes out. You are really a licker. But you were promoted too quickly. Did you become a Soul Saint? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Should I lick the group leader? That's the respect a foster son has for his foster father. Not fast, maybe half a year. I am Spider-Man. 6. It's only been half a year, but I have become Spider-Man now, and I am doing my best to see when the rhinoceros will appear. By the way, are you planning to become Poseidon? Do we need another god in our group? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. For those gods who don't care, I first plan to use a trident to tickle the group leader's teeth. A man from Wudang Mountain. My 100th birthday is coming soon, the so-called plot should begin. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Master Zhang, when the time comes, we will never spare those people from the western regions. Burn, burn for me. Envy, I secretly reminded Dad to be careful about Marshall. But he believed in his sons. What should I do? Shen Fei looked at the message. It seemed that they talked very little when he was away, but they seemed to have released their own copies of Destiny for the group to watch. Feng Shaoshan is progressing very quickly. He is already a Soul Saint. He also got the vast sea universe cover. This guy doesn't really want to become a Poseidon. But for now, the black tortoise martial spirit is more suitable to be the god of Poseidon than the blue silver grass. Ancient Giant Turtle. At Huo Wu will always be my goddess. You are promoted very quickly, which is good. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, all thanks to the generous gift from the group leader. Accepting the inheritance must be done before the title Duluo. If it weren't for the fast promotion speed and the threat from Wuhun Palace, I wouldn't want to go to sea so soon. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Versailles, right. Ancient Giant Turtle. Unfortunately, there is no live broadcast. I would like to see you take the 9th Poseidon exam. If the group leader, Ancient Giant Turtle, wants to activate the group live broadcast function, he can spend 1000 points to activate it in advance. Shen Fei looked at the text floating on the group. Could this be the case? It's only 1000 points, of course it's open. The group live broadcast function is now enabled. The group owner can initiate a group live broadcast and change the perspective. Welcome, Captain Blue Avenger, to join the group chat. Welcome, Half Thor, to join the group chat. Welcome, Mei will always be my goddess to join the group chat. Welcome, Fiancé likes someone else, to join the group chat. After Shen Fei started the live video, he didn't expect that there would be new people joining. Good guy. 4 people at once. But the 2 at the bottom are lickers again. Beautiful. It can't be a double-faced turtle. This unworthy descendant has disgraced the turtle clan. A turtle likes a jellyfish. There is another one, although I don't know who it is, but from the name Fiancé likes someone else, it seems that he is another licker. Good guy. There are 3 licking dogs in a group. The content of this group of licking dogs is too high. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Welcome 4 newcomers. If you have any questions, you can check the group first. First of all, please don't provoke the group leader and the guardian spirit. They are all 6-star bosses in all realms. If you still don't understand something, ask again. Half and Half Thor. Chat group. Interesting. Chat group that connects all worlds. Oh, that's a bit too fierce, I mean. What kind of mentalist are you? How dare you play such a trick on me? Don't get caught by me. I won't let you go then. Shen Fei looked at the pair of half-thunder gods, the tone of voice, the name, and the spiritual master. If it was really that world, that would be great. There were a lot of skills in that world, and it was even said that they were not weaker than those in the perfect world. The upper limit was extremely high. My fiancé likes someone else. Have you been refining too much elixir lately? I'm hallucinating. Mei will always be my goddess. What's wrong? What happened? Shen Fei glanced at it and watched quietly without explaining or being anxious. There was no need for him to explain at all. It didn't take long. After Huang Rong, Feng Xiaoshan and Peter cooperated with the group file to explain, the new members finally accepted the chat group, and Shen Fei also knew who they were from the chat. Two-faced turtle, Danwang Furukawa. But the captain was extremely discreet and did not appear. Half and half Thor. Wow, it's actually true. Characters that connect to other worlds, and they sound familiar. I think I've heard of some of them. If Brother Hong knew about it, he would definitely be interested. The ancient giant turtle uploaded the memory, swallowing the starry sky, which conforms to the group members, half and half Thor, and is not allowed to be downloaded. The ancient giant turtle uploaded a memory of fights break the sphere, which is in line with the group members, fiancé likes someone else, and is not allowed to be downloaded. The ancient giant turtle uploaded his memory, the adventures of little carp, which is in line with the group members, Mei will always be my goddess, and is not allowed to be downloaded. Shen Fei glanced at what Half Thunder God said, and it seemed that he was indeed swallowing the starry sky world. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, the group leader is so generous. Ancient giant turtle, at Huo Wu will always be my goddess. If you go out to sea so quickly, you are worried about encountering a magic whale. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, leader of the group, I can't do it unless I go to sea. Because of what happened in Hurricane Canyon last time, Wahundian has been monitoring our Kamikaze Academy recently. If Wuhun Hall does not come up with the results of its investigation by then, I am afraid that my grandfather and I will both be examined by Wuhun Hall. Ancient giant turtle, just handle it yourself. Half and half Thor, devouring the starry sky. My world is actually called this. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, if you want to share among the group members, is your name Thor? Is he also the same god as Lu Shen? Half and half Thor, yes, it's not a private matter. I have already given permission. But I am no longer a god, I am not Mr. Lu Shen. I am a warrior, just because I created the 9-layered thunder sword and because I am an orphan and have no name, I am called Thor. I will deal with some things first, and I will repay the group leader for his great kindness. Devour the starry sky world. Thor, who was in the Thunder Martial Arts gym, looked at the text downloaded from the chat group. Although he is not a spiritual master, his mental power is still quite high for his level, and he can read books very quickly. I finished reading the Earth chapter quickly. Seeing that almost all the powerful people on Earth have sacrificed their lives just to kill the golden horned beast. In the end, it was because of Luo Fang's PlayerUnknown's battlegrounds that he succeeded in killing the golden horned giant beast and turning it into his own avatar. However, he still maintained a certain degree of suspicion, and first investigated a person named Luo Feng through his own authority. With his authority, it was easy to access Luo Feng's information. Seeing that Luo Feng's information was exactly the same as what the group owner had uploaded, the smile that had been on his face all year round disappeared. Alkin, this guy, is looking for death. Third brother, how do you want second brother to deal with it? Thor turned off Luo Feng's message. After seeing Luo Feng's message, he believed 80% of it, plus the various things described in it. Many of them are relatively private, such as the areas of his understanding. Is this why I'm called the half thunder god? I was cut in half by a giant golden horned beast. It turns out that I am also a character in the film, but the group document is right. Since I can feel that I really exist, then I am real. No need to dwell on this. Single quote. Thor smiled bitterly. Then Thor looked at the strength part of his panel. Strength. 2 stars from all realms, extraordinary. Are you only a second star in all realms? What kind of existence are the 6 stars of the various realms of those group masters? To be honest, even if he and his eldest brother go to kill the unborn golden horned giant beast now, they should be able to defeat it. But in this case, there would be no Luo Feng as a pioneer to go to the universe. At that time, they will not be able to deal with disasters from the universe. And according to what was said there, Luo Feng is already the most powerful spiritual master. Only he can take away the golden horned beast. Yes, there is a chat group. This is also my chance. There are 6-star experts in it. There must be a way to deal with the golden horned beast without affecting Luo Feng's chances. Thor shook his neck and took a breath to relax. Now there is still a turning point. He turned his attention to the chat group again. At this time, the people who joined him also learned about the existence of the chat group, and they all opened their own related copies of Destiny. Except for the captain of the Blue Avenger. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Feng Shaoshan comes out, your brother is here, and here are 2 more licking dogs. The fiancé likes someone else. RiSmile.jpg, Miss Huang. I just like sect leader Yun, but that doesn't mean I'm a licker. Mei Mei will always be my goddess. What are you talking about? What words? Mei Mei is the most beautiful singer in Ocean World. Isn't it natural to like her? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Someone copied my name and my behavior. But now I have worked hard. I am no longer the person I used to be. I am no longer a licking dog. You can call me Wolf Warrior. When it comes to licking, I only lick the leader of the group. If Lu Shen can let me lick it, I can lick it too. Guardian Spirit of Ishimura, get out. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Okay. Get lost. As for the magic whale, I suddenly thought of a way to fix the bug. When the time comes, I will send the Chenkin shield to any one of you, and then send it back to me when I arrive at Poseidon Island. It won't be able to sense it, otherwise it won't be able to find me. Ancient Giant Turtle. At half Thor, you should have understood your situation by now. When Thor saw the leader at him, even though there was nothing in front of him, he couldn't help but straighten his waist. Half and half Thor, please give me some advice from the leader of the group. I can kill the golden horned giant beast with my eldest brother now, but the problem is that this ruins the opportunity for the 3rd brother. Prehistoric Giant Turtle. Just increase your strength yourself. You now know the future development. When the time comes, you will be strong enough to grab the golden horned giant beast and annihilate his soul to Luo Feng. Half and half Thor. Group leader, I know it too. But now it is impossible for me to step out of the earth, and I am already the 2nd strongest person on the earth. I have no direction. Ancient Giant Turtle. Points. You have mastered so many skills on earth, upload them all to the chat group, use points to strengthen yourself, or redeem the skills I uploaded. Shen Fei smiled. The god of thunder was the master of martial arts. This guy was the 2nd strongest person on earth. If he wanted to, he could almost mobilize the martial arts of the entire earth, even if these techniques were very weak. But it all allowed Shen Fei to settle. And now there are methods of extreme speed and recovery, but there are no methods of refining, attack, and defense. Devour the starry sky world. Thor raised his eyebrows. It seemed to make sense. Now the group points can only be obtained by uploading exercises, and he took a look at the group file. The 5-star technique, Turtle Junhai Jin, is unique, and it seems that it was uploaded by the group owner. If you can exchange it yourself, it should be easy to successfully practice and deal with the golden horned giant beast. Half and half Thor. By the way, can I reveal this to my elder brother Hong? Lei Shen and Hong came together from the Great Nirvana period, and it can be said that they share life and death. In his view, this is an opportunity to help the earth get out of trouble, but he does not want to hide it. He wanted to tell Hong, but he was worried that he would hit some taboos. Ancient Giant Turtle. No problem. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. It's okay, I've already told my grandpa. When Lei Shen saw Shen Fei's reply, he turned into a bolt of lightning and left his martial arts headquarters. On the way, he informed Hong that he was about to talk to him about something involving the life and death of the earth. He also kept paying attention to the chat group on the way. Not long after, Thor arrived at the Extreme Martial Arts headquarters. Thor walked to the headquarters of the Extreme Martial Arts Hall. A black-haired man wearing a black and red robe with a Chinese character on his face looked majestic. He frowned as he walked in and said, "It's always a fool's errand. Let's talk about what we plan to do this time. Where do you want me to go with you? What kind of things endanger the safety of the earth?" Quote. Hong knew Thor's character. He was usually idle and laughing. But Hong saw the serious expression on Thor's face, frowned slightly, and said, "Close all communications and no one is allowed to come." Yes, All the lights around him disappeared. As he said, he understood Thor's character. Once he showed this expression, he knew that something was serious. Thor told Hong everything he knew, and also told all the plot of swallowing the stars that he saw. Hong held the teacup, although his face was calm. But the gently shaking teacup showed that his mood was not so calm. Really, from the current point of view, it is indeed true. Try the so-called enhanced function first. How many points do you need? 70,000. All the exercises from the Extreme Martial Arts School have been uploaded, give it a try first. Good. While everyone was chatting, a large amount of information began to flood the screen. Half-point Thor uploaded, World Destruction, and received 3,000 points. Half-point Thor uploaded, 9 layers of Thunder Knife, and received 2,500 points. A steady stream of exercises continued to be filled into the group file, and Thor's points began to soar. When it soared to 70,000, Thor pressed the enhancement button. Suddenly, a pure power began to spread through his body and poured into his limbs and bones. And in the genetic core of Thor, the central core, which was originally surrounded by only 7 miniature planets, began to condense a new star under this pure power. Instantly, the thunder god's body flashed with the power of thunder and lightning. Even Kam Ruhong's eyes were filled with shock at this moment, planet 8th level. The god of thunder exhaled, with the power of bright thunder in his breath, yes. This chat group is real. That is to say, what the mysterious group leader uploaded is true. The Earth will soon face a huge disaster. Hong took a deep breath. Before the golden-horned giant beast wakes up, I must help you rise to stellar level strength. You can take all the techniques. Hong was not jealous of Thor for having such an adventure, he would only be happy that they could give their lives to each other. We also have to be prepared and keep an eye on that kid Luo Feng. There are some disasters that he doesn't need to experience at all, and we have to do our best to train him. Clear. Build a good relationship with that mysterious group leader. Not only on Earth, but also when we go to the universe in the future, we may not be able to see such a powerful person. Although he is a magical turtle. But he doesn't seem to have any ill intentions towards the human race. Quote. My friends have said that he is a time traveler. What is a time traveler? It seems like a person in the novel who has traveled from human soul to another world. Thor scratched his head. Forget it, let's focus on the more important things now. We have uploaded all the skills. You can choose some to strengthen and save some later. Good. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Wow, there are so many techniques to destroy the world. What a powerful name, gun skills. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. I'm envious, it's another world of cultivation. Why don't my soul skills count as exercises? Burn it for me. That skill of yours that can only be used in conjunction with martial arts is considered a skin skill. I'm miserable, I don't have any skills at all. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. It's okay, neither do I. At present, it seems that there is no double-faced turtle world, ha ha ha, they are indeed good brothers. By the way, can someone help me get the Vast Sea Universe cover? I'm ready to go to sea. I am Spider-Man, are you moving too fast? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. If I don't watch the group, time will still pass pretty quickly. Ancient Giant Turtle. Study it for me. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Come on. My adoptive father told me earlier. If you want to study it, I will send it to you without stopping. Huo Wu will always be my goddess and send an exclusive red envelope to the Ancient Giant Turtle. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Your licking method is okay. Is this the strength of 6 years of licking the dog? Mei Mei will always be my goddess. Ancestor. So what should I do now? Mei Mei actually likes Aku. Burn for me. One is called foster father, the other is called ancestor, good fellow. Could it be that the only way to become stronger is to become a licking dog? My fiancé likes someone else's upload of 6 Great Elixir Essentials and gets 2,000 point. Shen Fei glanced at it and did not rush to redeem the skills they uploaded. Instead, he received the red envelope sent to him by Feng Xiaoshan. A crystal clear blue 3-dimensional triangle appeared in front of him. The next second, Kacha, an overwhelmed voice sounded on the thing, and a force spread out of Shen Fei's hands, garbage. Is this the Poseidon's heart? Just that little bit of water law. Shen Fei shook his head, thinking that things like the hydrogen continent were a bit special. This Poseidon's heart only contained a little bit of the law of water, which was so cool. However, the Shira demon sword contains the laws of killing and judgment, and the Rakshasa demon scythe contains the laws of resentment and evil. The amount is small, but it can give Shen Fei an introduction to understand these laws. As for the trident, he should just use it to pick his teeth. Ancient giant turtle. Wait until you get to Poseidon Island and add me. I'll make a video so everyone can see how you pass the Poseidon 9 exams. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Okay, adoptive father, don't worry. I won't embarrass you. Ancient giant turtle. What a ghost, my adoptive father, I am old enough to be your ancestor's ancestor. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Ancestor, I understand. Peach Blossom Island little chef, you really know how to lick. Shen Fei shook his head. He didn't care whether the captain appeared or not. It had nothing to do with him. Instead, he continued to use his points to sweep away the techniques uploaded by Thor and Furukawa. A steady stream of information entered his mind, and he absorbed it all in an instant. The original points of more than 200,000 were suddenly reduced by more than 100,000. You watched. Precipitation. You watched. Precipitation. Shen Fei's eyes had extraordinary charm and flowing laws. The techniques he saw were constantly flashing and combining in front of his eyes. You seem to want to deduce the method of attack. Are you thinking about what weapon is suitable for you? A pair of fists is your greatest weapon. The spear of Hades is just a reference to a path that is not suitable for you. You combined many boxing techniques and began to deduce the techniques. Thunder is the most powerful thing in the world for killing. You plan to combine other ideas with the method of 9 layers of thunder sword. The blue sea is rolling and endless. You seem to have thought of something, the Black Emperor Water Emperor Fist. Continuous, blue sea waves, mines exploding, thunders causing rain, relief from droughts, winds and clouds. You understand the Water Master Thunder Emperor Fist. The thunder is like waves, endless, majestic, and the rain and thunder go together. As Shen Fei sank into it, under this realization, the law of water and the law of thunder, which were originally understood separately in the body, began to merge, and muffled thunder exploded in Shen Fei's body. This Water Lord Thunder Emperor Fist only has one punch, but there are countless punches. As long as it is hit, a steady stream of thunder-like fists will continue to fall, the breath will continue, and the next punch will definitely be stronger than the previous one. It would be impossible for an ordinary Deluo to achieve this level, but the countless black turtle particles in Shen Fei's body will retain part of the power as a transition when Shen Fei uses his boxing skills. The tenacity of the law of fetching water, the explosion of the law of thunder. Coupled with Shen Fei's terrifying power, even if Daluo falls into his boxing, he will probably be blasted to the point where he can't find his head. Not bad. With the help of deducing this boxing technique, he now realized that the law of water can condense the first 5 chi, and the water chi enters the kidneys, which can be used to enter the realm of Tai Golden Immortal. To enter the Tai Golden Immortal, you only need to condense the 5 chi in your chest. All things in the world cannot escape from the 5 elements as long as they have not entered the Deluo. The purpose of condensing the 5 chi in the chest is to build one's own small 5 elements based on the 5 elements of heaven and earth, so that one can survive even if one is separated from the 5 elements of heaven and earth. Most beings will use their own methods to understand the 5 elements of heaven and earth and enter the Tai Golden Immortal. Shen Fei mainly focused on understanding the laws of water. Naturally, he started with water and used the 5 elements to condense the 5 chi in his chest. The 12 Dinghai divine pearls among the souls began to tremble slightly, and a steady stream of pure water vapor spread out from them. The pure water vapor diffused from the 12 oceans inside was comparable to the eyes of the sea. It can speed up Shen Fei's water vapor condensation. In fact, with Shen Fei's body wandering in the North Sea for so many years, even the water vapor passively absorbed can be called a boundless ocean, but he didn't make good use of it before. Now, by condensing the innate Taoist body and feeling the laws, we can just use this to enter the realm of Tai Golden Immortal. In other words, it is a matter of course. The illusory water chi is condensed in Shen Fei's soul, but this is not enough. To be Tai at the beginning requires one of the chi to be transformed into another through mutual generation. Take Shen Fei as an example. If Shen Fei wants to break through Tai, he must use water to generate wood. From now on, wood generates fire, which is the middle stage of Tai, and fire generates earth, which is the late stage of Tai. Once you understand that earth generates metal, and build the small 5 elements, you can try to push away the 3 flowers of Da Luo. But in fact, this is not difficult for innate beings. They have inheritance themselves. In addition, the suppression of heaven is not strong now. This is why the further the calamity goes, the easier it is to break through. The world has just been opened, the secrets of the laws are before your eyes, and the innate spiritual energy is flowing continuously. As long as you can become the first pig, any pig can become a Da Luo Jinxian. In an instant, the obstacle that prevented the innate water energy in Shen Fei's soul from transforming into innate wood energy was broken through. You must know that there is Lu Shen's method in his precipitation, which is the way of wood. At this moment, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth all over the sky condensed like a storm. Shen Fei was like a funnel that could never be filled, and the infinite spiritual energy of heaven and earth was swallowed into his body. It was not until nearly 100 years later that this phenomenon was alleviated. Shen Fei opened his eyes. Breaking through Tai was not a big deal for him, because his strength could crush Tai's law and Daoyun with his physical body. It's just that after breaking through Tai, he will understand the law faster. Because it fits the 5 elements of heaven and earth. And at this moment, a bell sounded in the heaven and earth that spread all over the world. No matter where you are or what you do, you can hear the sound of the bell. Even if you are practicing, you will wake up to the sound of the bell but not wake up. No impact at all. I am Hongjun, a Taoist from the ancient times. I live in the Zishao Palace 33 days away. I have achieved great success in cultivating Taoism. Now I am solving puzzles for hundreds of people. I give lectures once every 3,000 years and once every 500 years. I have preached 3 times, and the first sermon will be in 500 years later. Anyone who is destined can come and listen. After saying that, the world returned to silence again. Shen Fei opened his eyes, and Hongjun's first sermon began. This time was also the beginning of the era of saints, and also the beginning of the Lich tribulation, which ended with the rupture of Buzhou Mountain. At that time, it was the first killing calamity that heaven dealt with him. In order to make amends for heaven and earth, the saint would definitely come and kill him. No matter who. For saints, their sainthood is based on the way of heaven. If heaven and earth are complete, their sainthood will not be lacking. Shen Fei's eyes were complicated, mainly because he was thinking about whether he should go or not. As for going to chaos, it may be difficult for many living beings today, but it is easy for him, not to mention that he himself understands the laws of defense, and with his physical body, he can be said to be the best in history. There is also the Dinghai divine pearl to protect his body. Chaos will not be able to hurt him for a while. Hongjun talks about the way of Da Luo and the way of saints. With his understanding, he can definitely understand a lot of things. But there is a problem. This will completely expose himself to Hongjun. His transformation is part of his rebellion against destiny. Now he doesn't even know whether Hongjun is good or evil to him. If he appeared rashly, he might put his life and death in the hands of others. Shen Fei kept thinking about various possibilities. After thinking about it for a long time, Shen Fei suddenly thought of a possibility. Since he could successfully transform, he didn't think that his transformation disaster could be hidden from Hongjun. Why doesn't Hongjun do anything to me? Single quote. Shen Fei touched his chin. Something was wrong. To be honest, he was frightened when he transformed. What he worried about was not the transformation, but what Hongjun would do if he reversed his destiny. Discover now. It seemed that Hongjun didn't care about him. Shen Fei frowned and kept calculating with his fingers. Although he was not proficient in the secrets of heaven, he was now Tai, so he could still roughly grasp it. The blessing of the great god Pangu. Soon, Shen Fei's eyes flashed with light and he murmured. It turned out that it wasn't that Hongjun didn't want to do something to him, but that he couldn't. As the first turtle in the ancient world, he was born with noble heels. In the ancient world, being inferior to the heels actually meant that he was close to the great god Pangu, the founder of the ancient world. Therefore, the more noble the heel is, the more consistent it is with heaven and earth. The easier it is to understand the laws of heaven and earth and realize the Tao. Reflected on the monks, the higher the talent. Even today's Hongjun does not dare to kill some noble people. At present, it seems that the path Hongjun is taking should be to conform to the way of heaven, but the world was opened up by Pangu. If one indiscriminately kills a person with innate dignity, his own destiny will be greatly damaged, and it will have negative consequences for the prehistoric period, which is not conducive to his harmony with heaven. Hongjun. Among the many prehistoric novels that Shen Fei had read in his previous life, Hongjun continued to promote catastrophes in order to clear the imprint of the great god Pangu on the prehistoric world. After the end of the Lich tribulation, even Pangu's most prominent feature in the prehistoric times, Buzhou Mountain, was broken. And it doesn't mean that the limbs of the ancient giant tortoise must be used to support the sky. With the methods of many saints, how could it be possible that there is no way to refine the method to support the sky? It is to use the great catastrophe to get rid of one of the oldest innate beings, and then eliminate Pangu's imprint on the ancient world. In this case, there is no need to be afraid, at least before the third time. Shen Fei, with 12 Dinghai divine pearls on his head, transformed into his original form and wandered in the chaos. Nowadays, no demon court has been established, and it is relatively simple to go from the prehistoric era to the outside of chaos. After he came to chaos, he closed his eyes and sensed the location of Zishao Palace. I can't sense it at all, and I can't even find anything through calculations. Originally, the place Zishao Palace had its own real name. As long as you get permission and recite your true name silently in your heart, you will naturally have direction guidance. Even if the chaos is unpredictable and the space changes all the time, there is guidance. All you need is a little chance, footwork, and cultivation to be a destined person. But he had been searching for more than 10 years and found nothing. Even because of the invasion of the power of chaos, he had to transform into his original shape to continue walking. Even if he couldn't find it, even if he muttered silently, Shen Fei returned to the edge of the fetal membrane of heaven and earth and looked back. He already figured it out. The so-called destined person is nothing more than the person selected by Hongjun. Although this guy cannot kill him, he can limit the speed at which he improves his strength. Forget it, if you don't listen, you won't listen. If you listen, you will have cause and effect. Hongjun's preaching was not about showing great kindness. The original Sanqing of the Pangu sect, which can be said to be the oldest existence in terms of heel and foot, became a disciple of Hongjun, and he was born shorter than Hongjun. The karma caused by the catastrophe of the Dao demon was used to repay the karma of Junti and his two brothers through the adoption of disciples. The adoption of Nuwa allowed human beings to become the carrier of Taoism and continued his path. Hongjun is truly a pure seeker, but his path is based on the entire prehistoric era. Shen Fei felt a little numb when he thought that his enemy in the future would probably be Hongjun, mainly because he was quick with each step. If he had understood himself during the catastrophe of the ferocious beast, he could really have competed for the position of Taoist ancestor. But now, it's shipped. You can only rely on chat groups and understanding. Now swallowing starry sky and perfect world both have ways to become no weaker than saints. Try to help them grow as much as possible, and then get those skills. Shen Fei walked into the wilderness and returned to Beihai. Now many of the powerful auras that originally existed in Beihai have disappeared, and even Kunpeng's has disappeared. Needless to say, it was a classic show in Zishao Palace. Hongyun gave way and joined Kunpeng to take over the cause of sainthood. It was originally a good show. It can be said that every traveler in prehistoric times has to go through it, but now is a good time. I didn't even get a ticket. But at least he knew that Hongjun was not kind to him, but he was probably unable to kill him because of Pangu. When Shen Fei returned to Beihai, he was not in the mood to go back to practice. Fellow Taoist Guiyuan's visit to our Dragon Palace really makes our Dragon Palace shine. Guang's, who was originally practicing, suddenly received the news that Shen Fei was visiting and immediately stopped practicing and hurried out. Shen Fei was sitting, while Prime Minister Gui was serving him respectfully. Guang's didn't feel anything, and even felt happy that he could have some connections. Now the Dragon clan is no longer as powerful as it was during the Dragon, Phoenix and Han tribulation. The more powerful people you make friends with, the better. Not to mention that Shen Fei is probably the oldest innate divine being. He has been wandering in Beihai for many years. Guang's has known about this figure for a long time and has even calculated the secrets of heaven. Naturally, he has also obtained the same results as Kunpeng. It's a pity that the Dragon Clan and the Turtle Clan have always been on good terms. Unexpectedly, this fellow Taoist from Guiyuan somehow managed to get rid of his confused situation and successfully transformed into another form. It's just that he was a little confused as to why Shen Fei came here. After all, it was a sermon given by a saint. Fellow Taoist Guiyuan, don't you want to listen to the saint's teachings? Come and sit in my little palace. I went, but couldn't find it. Shen Fei drank the wine and told Guangs that he had been searching for decades in the chaos but could not find anything. Guang sighed, there is no way, this is the power of the saint. To be honest, my eldest brother also went to chaos, but he couldn't find it. The so-called destined person is just the chosen one. There is definitely no hope for our three races. I didn't expect that fellow Taoist had no hope either. I'm afraid it has something to do with fellow Taoist carrying the destiny. Quote, although he couldn't calculate exactly what destiny Shen Fei carried, he must have made some guesses. Otherwise, it is unlikely that Shen Fei's heels would not be able to find Zishao Palace. Forget it. I'm lucky if I get it, but I'm lucky if I lose it. Fellow Taoist is quite open-minded. Guangs really didn't pay much attention to Shen Fei's look, and couldn't help but feel emotional for Shen Fei's broad-mindedness. After all, it was a sermon preached by a saint, and just listening to it would be a huge opportunity. I came here this time, firstly, to visit the Dragon King, and secondly, to ask the North Sea Dragon King for something. But it doesn't matter. Guangs did not feel offended, but felt that he finally had a chance to form a good relationship. I want to see the North Sea Eye. North Sea Eye. Guangs frowned. The Four Seas Eye is one of the largest water sources in the entire prehistoric period. The water sources headed by the Four Seas Eye constantly transfer seawater into the Four Seas. Finally, the stagnant and turbid water flows into the place of Guishu, so that the water from all over the world will not completely overflow and submerge the wilderness. Since the dragon, phoenix, and Han tribulations, the Dragon Clan has begun to forever suppress the eye of the sea, dredge the water veins, and obtain merit to offset karma. It's okay to let one person in. It's just that he was a little confused as to why Shen Fei wanted to go to Beihai Heian. Shen Fei was not in a hurry and just waited quietly for Guangs to make a decision. The Eye of the Four Seas is actually not a good place. It is even said that no one except the Dragon Clan likes to go there. The Eye of the Sea is the source of many ancient water veins. It needs to be adjusted and dredged at all times to avoid conflicts between water sources or deviating from its flow direction. For the prehistoric world, the major water veins are equal to the blood vessels of the prehistoric world. If there is a problem with the water veins, the aura of the entire prehistoric world will also be affected. Next to the sea eye, or the other side of the sea eye, is Guishu. What it represents is the prehistoric void, which is responsible for absorbing the turbid water and stagnant water in the sea water, and keeping the sea water free from pollution at all times. Shen Fei felt that his devouring method fell on Heian and Guishu. It is impossible for him to fully understand something that has nothing to do with him. If he wants to understand the law of devouring, it is better to use the law of water as a guide. Water is not incapable of swallowing power. Whether it is a sea eye or a whirlpool, one can understand the law of swallowing by analogy. So he wanted to go to sea eye to see it. After knowing that Hongjun had no good intentions towards him, he knew that he would do whatever it took to increase his strength. Guangs nodded and said, yes, but my Beihai Dragon Clan is now responsible for sorting out the water veins there. It is also where my Dragon Clan repays the cause and effect of heaven and earth. Fellow Taoist. Don't worry, I'm not going to cause trouble. I'm just curious about Heian, and I want to see Guishu to see if I can understand anything. I can't listen to the way of the saint, so I have to find another way. Good, A turtle and a dragon kept walking in the sea, and the aura spread out by the two powerful figures scared away the monks who wanted to spy on them. Although he has transformed into an innate Taoist body, he is still more comfortable in a turtle body in the sea. After all, after so many years, he transformed into a Taoist body more to understand the Taoism. As for the slow speed is compared to Kunpeng's rapid speed. If she masters the laws of water in the water, Kunpeng's speed in the water will not necessarily be faster than hers. While Shen Fei was on his way, his mind fell on the chat group. To his surprise, the Blue Avenger captain actually appeared. Captain Blue Avenger. It turns out that you are really not an illusion. Did some true god make a joke on me? Peach Blossom Island little chef. I already told you that it wasn't true, my dear, you didn't believe it until now. On the Sunian Sea, a three-masted sailboat was sailing through the storm. But what is strange is that there are no sailors controlling the sails and adjusting the rudder, but the ship can move spontaneously. Alger stood on the deck, his body rising and falling with the bumps, maintaining his balance easily. He was wearing a robe embroidered with lightning patterns, and he was holding a strange-shaped glass bottle in his hand, with bubbles, wind and frost intertwined inside. It's almost time to try to be promoted to navigator. An idea flashed through his mind, and he put it in the chat group again. More than half a year ago, after he obtained the Blue Avenger during a mission, he received a message to join the chat group. But he never spoke. He thought it was a hallucination caused by taking the magic potion, and he would easily lose control once he responded. But after paying attention to them for a while, he felt that what they were talking about became more and more real, and he could even see their copies of Destiny that had released their permissions. Even if it was a hallucination, it wouldn't be something he didn't recognize at all. If this was not an illusion, it could only be a joke played by a certain Sequence 1 or even Sequence 0. I am Spider-Man. If we really want to talk about gods, there are only two gods in this group. One is the respectable group leader Dada, and the other is Lu Shen, but they should not bother to joke with you. Captain of the Blue Avenger. No intention to offend you two adults, I just feel like it's an illusion. I thought it was because my potion was not fully digested. When Shen Fei saw the word, magic potion, in this passage, it opened his memory like a key. Isn't this the captain of the Blue Avenger, one of the Lords of Best Friends who eventually became the chief priest of the Sequence 4 disasters, holding the overseas scepter with the Sequence 3 extraordinary characteristics for the Fool? The hanged man who also holds the Sequence 2 Book of Natural Disasters, Alger. Unexpectedly, the world I was brought into this time was a bit special. This world is not a purely upgrading world like Swallowing Starry Sky. Some sequences in their world are garbage in the early stages. But in the later stage, there was a hint of mastering the power of the law. And after the true God, there is the old days and the three pillars that go up. This world is quite interesting. The ancient giant turtle uploaded the memory, the Lord of Best Friends, which matches the group members, Captain of the Blue Revenge, and is not allowed to be downloaded. When Alger saw the memory uploaded by the group leader, he asked the sailors to guard outside the captain's room, and then he returned to the captain's room and started watching. Soon, his expression began to look strange and serious. Clean. The Fool. Alger murmured that according to time calculation, he should be almost pulled into the Origin Castle by Klein, whose real name was Zhou Mingrui. And the ghost shark blood that he is looking for so hard will also be traded from Audrey. How to deal with it? Pretend that nothing happened, use Klein and the chat group to grow in strength, or... Alger rubbed his brows and played with the mysterious bottle he got. It was because of this that he was pulled into Origin Castle by Klein. Forget it, let's see if he will really be dragged into Source Castle. The next second, there was a crimson explosion between the glass bottle and his palm, flooding the surrounding area in an instant. Alkin's eyes flashed with horror, and a thought flashed through his mind, does this mean that the Fool is here? After Shen Fei uploaded Lord of Best Friends, he stopped paying attention to it for the time being because he had already arrived at one of the legendary sea eyes in the world, the Beihai Sea Eye. This was almost in the deepest part of the North Sea, where countless innate water auras were squeezing, and in front of him in Guang's, a huge vortex was slowly rotating. Outside the entrance, there were two real dragons surrounding the whirlpool. When they saw the Dragon King of the North Sea, they quickly said, "Dragon King. Yeah, let us in." Yes, they didn't care about Shen Fei beside Guang's. The two real dragons kept spinning and combining with the whirlpool. In the end, it turned into a larger vortex, and it was only then that Shen Fei became aware of the laws of space above. Do you still want to open the door like this? Shen Fei followed Guang's and walked into the huge whirlpool. As soon as he entered, he felt the difference between the eye of the sea and the wild sea water. No spirit. Heian actually has no spiritual energy. It's not that there is no spiritual energy, it's that it's all in the water veins. In the small world of Heian, there are only water veins, and Guishu is not filled with spiritual energy. Guang's explained. Otherwise, why would Heian be called Jedi? It has long become a paradise for monks who practice the law of water. Guishu is responsible for absorbing the harmful forces in the stagnant and bad water in the world. The spiritual energy is tempered and blended into the sea water, and then transported to the ancient world through the eye of the sea, forming the water cycle of the entire ancient world, so it is impossible for spiritual energy to overflow from the water veins. Quote. Shen Fei nodded after listening to Guangzi's explanation. Right, if the sea eye was full of spiritual energy, given its special nature, it would have become a paradise of caves, and those great water masters would compete to enter it. That's Guishu, so be careful. If you fall into it, the various laws inside will most likely eliminate your body. Guang's pointed to the distance. There was an extremely huge whirlpool, surrounded by a steady stream of seawater filled with resentment, evil spirit, corpse spirit and other negative forces. This vortex continuously sucks in seawater. As Guang's continued to let Shen Fei move forward. Soon, real dragons showing their prototypes appeared in Shen Fei's sight. They were using their magic power to transport the water veins from Guishu out of the sea eye according to the flow direction, magnitude, etc. Can I stay here for a moment? Can. Guang's nodded. He knew what Shen Fei wanted to do. For those of them who are innately holy, everything in the world can be the Dao. For example, there is a sacred perception of the world, a sacred perception of the mountain peaks, and even a sacred perception of the stars. Thereby enlightening the Dao, improving the law, or creating magical powers. But often these require a lot of time and can only be accomplished if the divine being conforms to such laws. In his opinion, although Shen Fei is an innate divine master of the law of water, it may be a bit difficult to comprehend any powerful magical powers or laws from Heian or Guishu. After all, the Dragon Clan has been here for so many years, and no one has realized powerful magical powers. Shen Fei sat down cross-legged, and the power of his soul began to spread, falling into the sea eye that was transported to the outside world, and he carefully understood the laws contained within. Swallowing the North Sea veins. At the same time, Shen Fei's soul power was still standing next to Guishu, but as soon as his soul power touched Guishu, it began to disappear, and he could not comprehend anything. Shen Fei opened his eyes. I want to go in and visit Guishu. Ah, Guang saw Shen Fei, who had just closed his eyes, suddenly opened his eyes and heard Shen Fei's words. Yes, but if you feel in danger, fellow Taoist Guiyuan, please don't act rashly because of temporary gains and losses. This is natural. I will transform into my true form. Returning to the ruins shouldn't destroy my turtle shell. Okay, but there may not be much time for fellow Taoist. Once the body of fellow Taoist enters, it is likely to block the circulation of Guishu. If it is because of the circulation of Guishu, the water veins cannot circulate smoothly. Heaven will definitely bring down karma. How long? In 5 years, there is no guarantee that fellow Taoists will be able to realize anything. Guang's was helpless. In his opinion, what could he realize in 5 years? Naturally, he also wants to make friends with Shen Fei, but if he is blocked in Guishu because of his desire to make friends with Shen Fei. If karma is sent from heaven, isn't that putting the cart before the horse? He made friends with the powerful men of various races in order to weaken the influence of karma on the dragon race. 5 years is enough. If I don't gain anything, it will naturally be my own problem. Shen Fei nodded. The next second, the original giant turtle appeared, and the real dragon that was still dredging the water veins in the eye of the sea suddenly saw a giant turtle like a mountain appearing here. Without saying a word, he entered the ruins directly. There was a real dragon who wanted to stop it, but Guang sent a message. For 5 years, you were responsible for storing the seawater first during this period. But it takes a lot of hard work, you know. Quote, no. These real dragons looked at Shen Fei with a pair of dragon eyes, who had no impact at all after entering, and were shocked in their hearts. There was actually a living being who entered Guishu in the flesh and was not crushed to pieces. Guang's looked at Shen Fei, who was directly submerged into Guishu. After he saw the power of Guishu climbing up Shen Fei's body, he tried to eliminate the power of various laws, but was blocked by a layer of divine light. This senior is worthy of having existed since the beginning of the world. If he had transformed into a human form at that time and achieved enlightenment, he would have been a powerful being not weaker than the ancestral dragon. What a pity. Single quote. And at this moment, Shen Fei. After entering Guishu, his mind began to spin, and he continuously extracted the martial arts and techniques that he had accumulated in the past. Return to the ruins, Han. The two are the beginning and end of the cycle of water. Repeatedly, water destroys water and creates water. Guishu is the combination of the way of devouring and the way of water. It is the location of Guishu in the ancient times. You feel that your world also needs to return to ruins, crushing tangible things with rotation, and swallowing invisible things with suction. The world built with black turtle particles returns to the world inside the body. Directly comprehending the power of Guishu with the physical body, the terrifying and boundless stirring is combined with the law of devouring, the law of water, and even the law of reincarnation. The black turtle particles in Shen Fei's body began to flicker with divine light, moving in the body in an extremely mysterious trajectory, and submerged into the world opened up by the sun and moon in the belly, inside Shen Fei's body. The originally empty world in my belly was filled with nothingness. Suddenly, particles of black turtle particles entered it and began to rotate in the special rotation method of Guishu, and a huge vortex appeared in the void of the world. And this vortex has two sides, and there seems to be infinite mystery flowing in it. Next moment, a drop of water shining with bright divine light began to spread from the vortex exit below. This was the first drop of water in this world. Tai Sheng Shui. Water assists Tai, so the whole sky. Something suddenly flashed through Shen Fei's mind. Suddenly, that drop of water spread crazily at an extremely fast speed, and a vast ocean appeared in the void in an instant. The endless stream of water disappeared out of thin air, but turned into wisps of fresh air and began to spread upwards, condensing, and above the void of the world. At the same time, this originally small world began to expand at an extremely fast speed. While Shen Fei was comprehending Guishu, he felt the changes in the world within his body. As the world expanded, his mind continued to flash with countless rhymes, as if the principles of heaven and earth were constantly appearing and being absorbed by him. The way of the world. Single quote. Shen Fei watched the constantly rotating world inside his body return to ruins. This was the devouring method that belonged to his turtle Junhai Jin. The world is in ruins. Single quote. Now in his soul, the law of water dominates, followed by the law of space, then the law of thunder, and finally the law of swallowing that he comprehended when he comprehended the method of returning to ruins. As for the law of life and the law of reincarnation, they are very little. Shen Fei opened his eyes. He had gained a lot this time. Now that he has returned to the world, he will be able to handle spiritual energy no less than Kunpeng. And combined with the inner world, some divine objects can also be thrown directly to Guishu for refining to directly enhance the world inside his body, without the need for him to use his own magic power to refine them carefully, which saves a lot of things. It can even be used as an attack method, summoning the world to ruins and crushing the enemy into pieces with endless crushing power. It's the way of the world that he finally realized. This is another story, but he doesn't understand it enough now. Shen Fei flew out of Guishu, turned into a Taoist body and landed next to Guang's again. Guang smiled slightly and said, "Did you gain anything, fellow Taoist?" "Yes. This time, it's all thanks to the Dragon King that it makes your fellow tribesmen suffer so much." In the distance, several real dragons were controlling the continuous flow of seawater filled with resentment and other negative energy, which seemed quite laborious. "This is the method of returning to ruins that I have learned." Shen Fei stretched out his hand. The law of water and the law of devouring were intertwined. The divine light emerged slightly, and a small Guishu appeared in Shen Fei's palm. Guang's was stunned. Not only him, but also the real dragon who was controlling the seawater and paying attention here was stunned. "It's only been so long, it's not even 5 years yet. Have you realized this? And since they stay here all year round, they can naturally tell whether Shen Fei is faking it or not. The palm of this powerful man's hand is like a small Guishu." They were still talking about how it was possible for someone to realize magical powers from Guishu, but they didn't expect that they would actually realize it. Compared to this great master, they are too useless. They have stayed here for so many years and have not realized anything. Seeing this, Guang smiled and said, "Congratulations to fellow Taoist for your harvest." His heart was full of surprise. He originally thought that Guiyuan was just following the old rules, but he didn't expect that his understanding was so high that he actually understood the method of Guiyuan. There was also a pity on his face. With my Taoist understanding, if I could go to Zishao Palace, I might be able to overwhelm many innate saints. Everyone has his own opportunity to judge. Shen Fei thought it was okay. Fellow Taoist is quite open-minded. As they walked away from Heian, they transformed into a turtle and a dragon again. Fellow Taoist, are you going to the Dragon Palace to discuss Taoism again? Forget it. Thank you Dragon King for your kindness. I still need to continue digesting and comprehending it. If I have time to talk about it again, this is one of my tortoise shells. If the Dragon King needs anything from me, feel free to contact me. Quote. Shen Fei spat out a piece of tortoise shell. This was the tortoise shell that had fallen off in these endless years. Because he had no strength and Dao marks, he had lost his defensive power, which was the first in the world. But it is related to Shen Fei's life and can be contacted with him using magic power. Guang's was overjoyed when he saw the tortoise shell. Isn't that what he wanted? Fellow Taoist Guiyuan is really a real person. Okay, I'll take care of you from now on. Guang solemnly put away the tortoise shell. This is a powerful good deed. After seeing Guiyuan hang up Kunpeng and beat him, and understand the method of Guishu, he knew that there would definitely be a place for fellow Taoist Guiyuan in the future. Just as Shen Fei was about to leave, Guang said quickly, fellow Taoist Guiyuan, stay. What's wrong? This is a meeting gift for fellow Taoist Guiyuan. Last time, because Kunpeng came in a hurry, I didn't even give him a meeting gift when I met fellow Taoist. It just so happens that this time I found a magic weapon in my Dragon Clan's treasure house that is extremely suitable for my fellow Taoist's current situation. This is also a congratulatory gift to fellow Taoists. Quote. A stone tablet appeared in front of Guang's, with countless intertwined patterns on it, which was extremely mysterious. The moment the stone tablet appeared, there was an invisible and powerful pressure all around. There are many prohibitions wrapped around the body of the steel, and there are 36 innate prohibitions that are constantly flashing. A top-grade innate spiritual treasure. This is the companion spiritual treasure, the Xuanzhang Monument, of Ancestor B, the sixth son of the ancestral dragon. Its refining method is extremely strange, and it needs to be carried on the back. Each time it is refined, the stone monument weighs 10,000 times. And Patriarch B is the parent and son of Patriarch Ancestral Dragon and Black Turtle, so he is naturally very handy in mastering these accompanying spiritual treasures. But many creatures simply cannot refine it and exert its power. If it can be completely refined, its power will be top-notch among high-grade innate spiritual treasures. I feel that this magic weapon should be easier for fellow Taoists to control than Patriarch Bigui. Quote. Shen Fei looked at the stone tablet with the holy light emerging from the water. No wonder it was mentioned in ancient novels. You can think that the Dragon Clan is cowardly, but you can't think that the Dragon Clan is poor. Single quote. This is too arrogant, even the innate spiritual treasures are given away. Thank you to the Dragon King this time. How could Shen Fei refuse a high-grade innate spiritual treasure, and this time it could be regarded as a cause and effect with the Dragon Clan. Anyway, there is cause and effect, and he doesn't care if there are more. The main reason is that this Xuanzhang Monument is really suitable for him. For a power player like him, fists are naturally the most suitable. If he must use a magic weapon, it is naturally a heavy player like Dinghai Shenju. This Xuanzhang Monument is included in this list. Okay, then I won't disturb fellow Taoist digestion and enlightenment. Shen Fei's huge tortoise body swam and disappeared from Guangzi's eyes. Guang's looked at the tortoise shell in the dragon's claws. The Beihai Dragon Clan finally had a backer. In Beihai, Shen Fei's mind fell on the chat group and he saw Lu Shen at him. As the little one going to be baptized. A perfect world. The little one is going to be baptized. Lu Shen, who lives among the willow branches, looked at the little one who had completed his cultivation in half a month and was about to be baptized. Is this Huang? Unparalleled talent. Opportunities keep coming. Shi Kun was just worried about the baptism of the little one. After all, the little one has such a high talent, if the materials used for the baptism are not good. Likely a waste of his talent. Who knew that not long after, the village would bring back 3 rare ancient relics, the Suan Ni, the devil ape and the Lihuo ox. Now people in Shikun are constantly preparing for the baptism of their children. This is related to their future practice, before they have just completed the preliminary practice and officially entered the practice. This baptism will create a strong foundation for them. Lu Shen was hesitant. In fact, if they were trained as normal geniuses, the true blood of Swanee, Lihuo Niu and Demon Ape would definitely be enough. But the problem is, he is Huang. His potential is more terrifying than imagined. If it were the rest of the time, Lu Shen had no choice. She was still in nirvana and could not go out to hunt ferocious beasts. And her willow branches can now reach out to Shikun for a certain distance. It would be impossible to reach deep into the mountains. But now she has a chat group. If she can ask for a drop of blood from the group leader to help the little one build the foundation. What kind of brilliance Nawang will bloom at a young age? Guardian Spirit of Stone Village. At Giant Turtle, leader of the group, I have an unkind request. Chapter 21. Shen Fei looked at Lu Shen and said that he wanted a drop of his blood to be added to Huang Zai's baptism. The huge turtle paused for a moment. It would be so interesting to be baptized with his blood. Shen Fei threw the Xuanzhang monument onto his turtle's back, used his soul and mana to start refining it, and then used his concentration to enter the chat group to send a message. Ancient Giant Turtle. We are all friends, so there is no need to be too polite. But it's impossible to break the rules in the group. Guardian Spirit of Ishimura. Don't worry, when my memory recovers, I will exchange it with the 10 evil treasures I know, but now I am still recovering. Ancient Giant Turtle. Well, it's fine if you owe me. Shen Fei nodded. This time he was connected to the perfect world, and if the little one was baptized with his blood, it would be considered a partial cause and effect with him. At least with Huang's character, he's not that little brat, so it's a good thing that he can form a good relationship. The prehistoric giant turtle sent an exclusive red envelope to Lu Shen. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Hello, dear group leader, your most loyal little brother is about to arrive at Poseidon Island now. I wonder if you have time to watch him accept the Poseidon inheritance. Ancient Giant Turtle. Well, send me a message when the time comes. I will cover the vast universe to you. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Feng Shaoshan, you are really licking. I was lucky enough to see a big boss trading today. I am already practicing the 9 yin manual. I want to become a big boss. Come on, come on. Burn, burn for me, envy. Thunder God. The leader of the group is indeed powerful. My elder brother and I have both practiced the golden light technique. It can be said that I have defeated all the body skills on the earth. Let's see if I can redeem the group leader's powerful turtle Junhai Jin. Ancient Giant Turtle. The divine turtle's sea suppressing power is not suitable for you. You practice thunder method. Although mine focuses on the body, it is more suitable for the water method in the early stage. Shen Fei saw in the group that Lei Shen said that he wanted to learn his skills and sent a message. He did not want to mislead others, so he hesitated and continued to send messages in the group. The ancient giant turtle uploaded Thunder Emperor Fist and obtained 20,000 points. Prehistoric Giant Turtle. This Thunder Emperor Fist should be quite suitable for you, and it was also deduced from your 9 layers Thunder Sword. There are 9 levels. If you master the first level, you can attract the sky thunder and blast out a sea of thunder, which should allow you to break the defense of the juvenile golden horned giant beast. Devour the starry sky world. Lei Shen's eyes widened when he saw the message sent in the group chat. Hong, who was opposite him, saw Lei Shen's expression and couldn't help but ask, did something happen? Yeah, I said I wanted to redeem the group leader's divine turtle Junhai Jin, but he said it wasn't suitable for me. So I uploaded a version called the Thunder Emperor Fist based on my 9-layered Thunder Sword. It said that mastering the first layer can blast out a sea of thunder. A sea of thunder. Hong also knows that many warriors like to have exaggerated names, such as his marksmanship, destroy the world. But if it is the mysterious group leader, it is probably a realistic style. How many points are enough to redeem? 40,000 points. I originally planned to use them to improve my strength, but now I think it would be better to redeem them for this technique. Well, exchange it. Besides, your strength is a bit weak now, so it's better to master more powerful martial arts first. Hong nodded. Thor glanced at Hong and posted a message in the chat group. Half and half Thor, leader of the group, do you have any skills related to light? If so, I can find whatever you need. Lei Shen waited for Shen Fei to send a message, feeling a little uneasy. Hong was much more perceptive than him. If there was a technique suitable for him, he would definitely redeem it. Ancient giant turtle. Light. No. Half and half Thor. Okay. When Lei Shen saw Shen Fei's words, his eyes were a little disappointed, but soon Shen Fei's next words excited him. The ancient giant turtle uploaded Water Master Fist and obtained 30,000 points. Hong Wong giant turtle. Are you looking for skills for Hong? The world-destroying spear that Hong cultivated focused on the spiral power. This Water Master Fist contained the understanding of the spiral power, which made it possible for him to understand it by analogy. Half and half Thor. Okay, thank you, the group leader. Prehistoric giant turtle. If you all master it, as long as you have the same mind, you may be able to master the fist technique I created, the Water Master Thunder Emperor Fist. At that time, the golden-horned giant beast will only be smashed to pieces with one punch from you. Shen Fei withdrew his gaze from the chat group and refined the Xuanzang monument while wandering in the sea. A steady stream of spiritual energy from the seawater poured into his body. After mastering the world's ruins, he breathed in and out of spiritual energy in an extremely terrifying way. Not only the spiritual energy in the seawater, but also the crystal stones condensed by the spiritual energy were sucked into his body for refining. Although almost all have water attributes, water produces wood, and wood energy is constantly accumulating. In an instant, the law of thunder in the soul exploded on the accumulated innate wood energy. A wisp of fire energy is born from the innate wood energy. In an instant, a steady stream of spiritual energy was refined, and endless water vapor was turned into wood vapor to supply the small flame. Wood makes fire, wood burns and fire burns. The innate fire energy burst out, and Shen Fei entered the middle stage of Tai Golden Immortal. The Tai Golden Immortal who can beat Da Luo violently. Shen Fei shook his head and continued swimming in the water. The rest of the creatures still need to find the innate chi of the 5 elements to build their own 5 elements. Why require foreign objects? Because one's own accumulation is insufficient, there is more than enough to make up for the deficiency. Shen Fei's accumulation is enough for him to become Da Luo, but now he is balancing his energy and spirit. There is no lack of accumulation. Even if there is a loss, it doesn't matter. Too much energy means being arrogant. Shen Fei is heading towards the East China Sea, which has more treasures than the North Sea. Treasures are easier to find there. And with that guy Kunpeng's temperament, he could imagine that after the sermon was over, the bird with increased strength would definitely come to trouble him. The prohibitions of the Xuanzang monument were refined one by one, and Shen Fei finally felt the change in the weight of the Xuanzang monument, and there was a steady stream of earth laws emerging in his mind. The law of earth contained in this Xuanzang steel means that every time a restraint is refined, an earth vein falls on the body. It is naturally extremely heavy, but for Shen Fei, even after refining it, it may not slow down his movements by half. While rushing on the road, Shen Fei's mind fell on the chat group. Ancient giant turtle. At Guardian Spirit of Ishimura, by the way, can I take a look at the little one's baptism? Guardian Spirit of Ishimura. Of course you are welcome. A man from Wudang Mountain. I can finally see another world this time. The old Taoist is also very curious. Those guys at the 100th birthday party last time dared to force the old Taoist to hand over Kashan. I slapped each of them with my ground manipulation, and they didn't even react. Ancient giant turtle. Is it Zhenren Zhang's 100th birthday? A man from Wudang Mountain. The great turtle immortal, a real person would not dare to be that person. Just call it Zhang Laodao. The old Taoist followed the advice given by Senior Huang Rong and told all the secrets of the so-called slaying the dragon by heaven. I don't need those, but they won't let me go. So I gave them each a slap. Peach Blossom Island little chef. Ha ha ha, Master Zhang is really domineering. What are you talking about? If you dare to cause trouble today, either I will be beaten to death by the old Taoist, or I will be beaten to death by the old Taoist on the spot. A person from Wudang Mountain. But when I asked those people to celebrate their birthdays obediently, the chat group said that I had deviated from the fate of the chosen one, and rewarded me with 1,000 points. Shen Fei looked at the message sent by Zhang Sanfang, and his huge turtle head shook slightly. Has the chat group changed? Or should I say that this is the essence of chat groups? Shen Fei recalled the group friends who joined in. Huang Rong, Zhang Sanfang, Ace, Feng Xiaoshan, Peter, Lu Shen, Alger, Thor, Two-Faced Turtle, Furukawa. Almost all of them are supporting characters, right? Peter should be considered the protagonist. No, if we put it in the world of Marvel, Spider-Man is indeed not the protagonist. It's just that in his personal movie, he is the protagonist. The Two-Faced Turtle is also considered the main character, well, 1/4 of the main character, and his role is very small. If it really counts, the Little Carp is the real protagonist, because the name is called The Adventures of the Little Carp. Can you gain points by influencing the fate of the chosen one, the protagonist? Supporting character chat group. Shen Fei opened the old Taoist's 100th birthday uploaded by Zhang Sanfang. In the video, there are not many deviations from the original plot. Shaolin and many sects took advantage of the birthday to join forces. Although it was to celebrate the birthday, it was actually to find out the whereabouts of Xie Xuan and the Dragon Saber. And Zhang Sanfang, who had known their purpose and had been enlightened by his friends. If Zhang Kashan died because of some shame, Zhang Wuji would even become an orphan. Zhang Sanfang could never forgive himself for the rest of his life. So with the help of Shen Fei's points, Zhang Sanfang has mastered the art of manipulating the ground. A version of the eternal heaven-slaying dragon came directly. When you are unhappy, just be alone. All the 6 major sects were made to surrender, and even Shaolin's King Kong demon conquering formation failed to stop Zhang Sanfang. Later, Zhang Sanfang also told all the information about Yishan slaying dragon. He also took out the 9 yin manual from the Yishan sword. Although Zhang Sanfang already had it in his hand, he just wanted to protect Ame and took the 9 yin manual as his own in public. With his strength, no one dared ask him to get it. After all, this can be regarded as the orthodoxy of his goddess Guo Shang, and Huang Rong is still in the same group as him. Ame must be preserved. Can you gain points by changing the fate of the chosen one? Disturbing the changes in the world. Shen Fei murmured in his heart. In the original world line, Zhang Wuji was the chosen son. When he was a boy, he witnessed his parents being forced to commit suicide in Wudang Mountain. The impact on him lasted throughout his life. It even affected many things that happened in the future. Now Zhang Sanfang has completely changed these 2 things. Although it is hard to say what will happen in the future, from now on. Zhang Wuji's fate has indeed changed. And because of this incident, the chat group also started chatting, especially Feng Xiaoshan. Because currently in the group, he, Ace and Two-Faced Turtle have no points at all, and they have no way to obtain points. They haven't even used the simplest function of the chat group to strengthen it. And now that there is an additional way to earn points, he is naturally more curious. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Does that mean you can get points by helping the chosen one? But the chosen one in my world is a little brat. This guy even stole my goddess's first kiss. Fiancé likes someone else. Well, although I don't dislike Xiao Yan's character, it does feel a little uncomfortable for me to help Xiao Yan. It's okay if you don't want these points. Burn for me. Then how can I change the fate of my brother? Tell him not to become a pirate but to join the navy. Huo Wu will always be my goddess, but I want it. Ancient giant turtle. It doesn't have to be help, it just needs to change the trajectory. For example, you can get it by suppressing or even killing him. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. The leader of the group is great, but I have obtained the cover of the vast sea and the universe. The little Za San can no longer be the god of the sea. How is it possible? Prehistoric giant turtle. Who says he can't be a Poseidon without the vast sea universe cover? Sometimes the situation of the chosen one is more outrageous than you think. Unless you can really obtain the Poseidon. Otherwise, he may still obtain the title of Poseidon. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. For my points, I can only suffer you, little brat. I just remembered, I have to go back to compete then. Otherwise, Huo Wu's first kiss will be lost. Ancient giant turtle. You can watch it yourself, but this way you will probably be exposed to the eyes of Wuhun Palace. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. In half a year, I will work hard to become a titled Duluo. Shen Fei did not reply to the message anymore, but soon Lu Shen sent a message saying that Shihao's baptism was about to begin. The group leader, the Great Turtle, starts the group live video. From the perspective of the guardian spirit of Shikun, the selected group members can choose to join. Burn it for me and choose to join the live broadcast. After all, it was the first time to start a live broadcast, and everyone who was free joined in, just in time to see other worlds and the legendary invincible Huang. After everyone chose to join, they found that they seemed to appear in a space with seats in front of them. A figure is sitting. Come in and sit down. This should be like a chat room. I thought I was just watching in the chat group, but this is quite humane. After Shen Fei started the live broadcast, he found that a little of his mind came here. It's like watching a movie. There's a big screen at the front and seats arranged here and there. Who just happened to join in? Meet the group leader. When everyone saw Shen Fei, they quickly saluted. I didn't expect to take advantage of this live broadcast opportunity to meet the mysterious group leader. Huang Rong asked in a low voice. Didn't you say that the group leader is an extremely huge giant turtle? Because this is my Dao body. If I show my real body, do you still have room to sit? Stop chatting and sit down. Huang's baptism is about to begin. Shen Fei glanced at it. The two-faced turtle lay on the ground and moved, saying helplessly, but why am I still a turtle? Huang Rong held up the double-faced turtle and said with a smile, you can't transform into a Taoist body. With the strength of the group leader, it's normal for you to transform into a human form. Fang Xiaoshan quickly walked to the seat next to Shen Fei and sat down. He licked his face and said, the leader of the group is great. Don't talk, we'll talk later. Ah, good. At this time, the screen was already focused on a large cauldron rising from the flames. On it were the sun, moon, mountains and rivers, birds, beasts, fish and insects, as well as scenes of sacrifices by ancient ancestors. Suddenly a soft voice sounded, this is the big cauldron used by Shikun for baptism. The big cauldron used by Huang is quite special. Shen Fei raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect to be able to explain it, but everyone has watched The Perfect World of Desolation and knows that this cauldron is special. The next moment, a steady stream of medicinal materials were put into the cauldron. After everyone saw Suan Ni being dismembered, they could vaguely see a golden Suan Ni emerging, terrifying. Is this the ancient relic? This is too terrifying. In the future, the wilderness will actually feed on these ancient relics. The shock brought by the image was far more terrifying than the text. Everyone in the chat room opened their mouths unconsciously when they saw the power of the Suani. Lu Shen's voice sounded at this time, this is a fragment of divinity left in the blood, with no real consciousness. It is just a manifestation of the peak of his life. Everyone saw the little one in the cauldron glowing with divine light, constantly sucking the terrifying Suani into his body. The stronger the essence and blood used for baptism, the greater the potential of the little one will be developed. Lu Shen explained. In the picture, the cauldron was instantly covered. Huang Rong asked worriedly, you're so young, can you handle it? Although they knew from the destiny rules shared by Lu Shen that Huang had survived this baptism, could it be cooked in a fire? Is this something that people can bear? The better the essence and blood, the greater the pain will be, because this is the process of cutting the menstruation and cleansing the marrow. And with Suani as the starting point for baptism, even many geniuses from wealthy families cannot bear it. But it is precisely because of this that he is Huang. Quote, Shen Fei said lightly that he liked Huang very much in his previous life. It can be said that Huang is synonymous with invincibility. Even if Yifan and Chu Feng appeared later, they were both the emperors of heaven above the sacrifice. But Huang is the kind of person who, as long as he plays, you think he will win. Real invincible push. The group leader is right. Lu Shen nodded. The video on the screen began to speed up, and early the next morning, a childish voice came out, Grandpa Village Chief, the juice has dried up. The village chief looked at it twice, then hesitated and asked someone to add the blood of Li Huo Niu and Demon Ape, Xiao Shi Hao, these 3 ancient relics will give you an invincible foundation. You must persevere. Ah! In the cauldron, a terrifying bull roared, a demonic ape roared, and a Suan Ni leapt into the air. The 3 of them attacked the cauldron frantically. In Shikun, Shilinhu, who was about to close the cauldron, suddenly saw the sacrifice spirit of their Shikun. The willow god moved, and a green willow tree exuded green clouds, alarming everyone. The old patriarch quickly stopped him and said, "Wait a minute, Lu Shen seems to be making some moves." The wicker stretched out to the cauldron and gently stroked the little one's head. Lu Shen. The little one was a little confused the next second. A drop of blood, as bright as a star in the sky, dripped into the cauldron. With everyone watching, this drop of blood dripped into the cauldron. Next moment, countless golden light rains spurted out from the cauldron in an instant, and countless golden lights rose into the sky. A vast ocean appeared in the sky, and the sky turned into an ocean. Towering islands stand like gods and demons in the vast ocean. There are countless mountains all over it, and countless creatures wander among them. What's this? The people in Shikyun were stunned. What was the blood dripped by Lu Shen? The strange phenomenon that erupted actually enveloped the sky here and turned it into an ocean. The sun was obscured by the ocean at this time, and the Swanee, demon ape, and Lihuo Niu that had just appeared were in this ocean, just like the living creatures in the mountains. Extremely small. Just like the ancient relics of the past, they are nothing more than this in this vast ocean. Inside the chat room, Ace was a little confused. Why can't I see the group leader? How can I see the group leader in this overlooking scene? The group leader is so big, it's easy to find him, etc. Huangrong was also looking for him in the boundless ocean in the video. Feng Shaoshan shook his head, leaned back on the chair and said lightly, "I don't know. You can see it later." The next second, in Stone Village, boom, single quote, a roar that shook the world instantly sounded, and an extremely huge head like a giant mountain slowly poked out from the boundless ocean, setting off vast waves covering the world in all directions. In the middle of the ocean, a huge thing that covered the sun and the moon stood up from the sea water. The sea water slid down the extremely hard turtle shell, and each piece of turtle shell was like an island with heavy rocks and mountains. The body is extremely majestic. The limbs suppress the endless sea, and the eyes are like two great suns that have banned the sky. The vast ocean that appeared just now turned out to be just a background, and the towering mountain peaks they saw were just the peaks sitting on the back of the giant turtle. The back of this turtle is a continent. Turns out this is the group leader. Ace swallowed. Even the largest sea king species in their world is like snacks in front of the group leader. It turns out that the group leader is so big. Huangrong murmured. The god of thunder was thinking that if the group leader arrived in their world, it would probably be larger than planets or even stars. The two-faced turtle was even more shocking, because he was also a turtle, which meant that people would feel even more shocked when they saw the boundless giant, and he saw Shen Fei's true form. He was extremely horrified. Old ancestor. If he had such a body, Mei would probably fall in love with him. In the chat room, everyone has different expressions, but there is no exception. It was extremely shocking, and my mind was shaken. Roar. The roar of the giant turtle shook the sky, and the entire sky in the wilderness began to shake, as if it could no longer hold up. Next moment, the strange phenomenon in the sky suddenly exploded and turned into countless light rains covering the boundless world, not only Stone Village, but also Stone Kingdom, Fire Kingdom and other countries. Bulao Mountain, Yi Mountain, Taikupeng Mountain, Moling Lake, etc. are all covered by light rain. The entire wilderness was shrouded in light rain. When Lu Shen saw this, he picked up the lid of the cauldron and covered the cauldron. In an instant, the big black cauldron shook, and the ancient ancestors on the cauldron wall seemed to have come to life. Bursts of sacrificial sounds were heard, and then countless voices of chanting scriptures were heard. But everything turned into the sound of countless waves surging, like an ocean gestating in the cauldron. And in the tripod, at the same time, the originally golden slurry turned into extremely bright red blood, and countless gods appeared from the little dots sitting cross-legged in it, sitting there cross-legged and chanting sutras. The sound of ocean waves is constantly coming from the body. Terrifying boundless chi and blood were bred in his body, and pieces of tortoise shell-like energy were connected to his body surface and then hidden under his skin. Willow God's willow branches kept flying out, entangling the shaking cauldron to prevent the cauldron from being unable to support the baptism. Everyone in Shikyun was already stunned. The old patriarch reacted and shouted, "Hurry up and light the fire! Hurry up and light the fire!" As for the vision just now, the blood dripped by Lu Shen was of great significance, probably not even comparable to the gods. I didn't expect that Xiao Shihao would have such a chance. If such terrifying blood is used to build the foundation, it will definitely be invincible in this world. Thanks to the group leader for taking the initiative. When Lu Shen saw that the baptism was okay, he breathed a sigh of relief in the soul space and thanked him in the chat room. The originally terrifying vision suddenly exploded, and after that, the little boy was able to enter the refining state so quickly. It is possible that the group leader had anticipated this situation. It doesn't matter. Shen Fei looked at the big cauldron in the video quietly. Of course it was him who took action just now, otherwise the vision would have been noisy for who knows how long, just like he did to Feng Shaoshan before. He programmed it in his own blood. Shen Fei said, "Okay, I'm done watching. I didn't expect this live broadcast to be like this, so I started the live broadcast after that. But as for the main perspective, if no one applies, just use Lu Shen as the main one, just to experience the feeling of Yun Yang Wang Tiandi." Quote. "It doesn't matter." Lu Shen's voice came out. "I have something else to do, so I'll leave first." Shen Fei stood up and was about to leave the chat room when Feng Shaoshan recovered from the shock and said quickly, "Master, I have arrived at Poseidon Island." "Yes, I will be in the group at all times, just call me when the time comes." He had noticed that the body outside had finished refining the Xuanzhang monument, and he mentally exited the chat group, but the live broadcast was not closed. The Xuanzhang monument on his turtle's back had been completely refined, and it happened to be like a giant monument pressing down on him. But to him, it was as if there was an extra bag on his originally relaxed back. It's harmless. Moreover, the terrifying pressure was constantly suppressing his qi and blood, converting it into mana, and also had the effect of tempering mana. A steady stream of earth laws appeared in his soul. In the soul, due to the emergence of the law of earth, the endless fire energy suddenly appeared in the center like a bit of innate earth energy like debris. The Gui Shu within the body instantly acts to absorb the boundless spiritual energy in the world. As for the world inside Shen Fei's body, the sky that was born out of the condensed pure air seemed to have an attractor. Countless turbid air emerged from the void, beneath the boundless ocean. A land filled with the world appeared, and the original sky shrouded the continent like a cover. The sky is round and the place is round. The boundless ocean submerged the continent in an instant, leaving Guishu slowly rotating in the sky. Heaven assists Tai, thus forming earth. Stars suddenly emerged from the sky, and the sun rose and rotated in the sky, spreading endless brilliance. Heaven and earth complement each other, so they become gods. It only takes a while for the existence of heaven and earth, the perfection of the five elements, and wisps of strange spiritual wisdom to emerge among these born star gods. This star god will be born. The perfection of heaven and earth produced countless principles flowing in Shen Fei's heart, and Shen Fei's body that was still swimming stopped. The innate earthiness that had just appeared condensed into a huge ball, and driven by the evolution of the world, a ray of bright gold began to grow inside the ball. The terrifying essence in Shen Fei's body continued to pour into it, expanding and spreading this golden ray, turning it into boundless golden energy. In an instant, the 5 qi in the Yuan Shen are facing the Yuan, and the 5 small elements in the body are completely established in an instant. The 5 elements in the Yuan Shen are circulating continuously, and every being can cultivate to the peak of Tai Golden Immortal. Everyone has their own opinions on the 5 elements law, but each has its own pros and cons. Now Shen Fei just needs to push away the 3 flowers on the top and use the laws he has understood to communicate the required avenues to achieve the great Luo Dao fruit. The laws reflect the great road between heaven and earth. As long as the existence of Deluo Jinxian is not obliterated by law, it is an immortal existence. The terrifying spiritual energy once again swept in from all around. In an instant, Shen Fei's billions of innate spiritual energy were swept away, and they were all deprived of it and poured into his body in an instant. The living beings who were practicing one by one felt the spiritual energy lost in the world, and all of them withdrew from the state of cultivation and became furious. Who could be so unkind and deprive him of all his spiritual energy? Who was so unkind and deprived so much of his innate spiritual energy? It's very, very true. I was practicing well in the past, but now I can't continue to practice because of this, which has delayed my promotion to the realm of immortals. Let's go and find trouble with him together. On the overseas islands, many immortals who were forced to withdraw from the state of cultivation spread out their souls and communicated with each other. They decided that more people would have more power and teach this person a lesson. When many souls saw the huge turtle, they all fell silent, and then each returned to their own Dao bodies, keeping silent about what had just happened. Close your eyes tightly, as if you have never left practice. Something's wrong. Why didn't this powerful man go to the outside of chaos to listen to the sermon? Next moment, spiritual energy refills the world. At this time, the two black turtle particles in Shen Fei's body also roared into the sky, turning into two boundless giant turtle particles. Boundless terrifying power appeared in Shen Fei's body. 4 giant turtle particles. Now his giant turtle particles plus black turtle particles add up to the power of a 5-headed giant turtle. If Kunpeng were to take his blow forcefully, his soul might be directly hit and shaken by the law. After he stopped devouring spiritual energy, the energy of the 5 elements in Shen Fei's soul continued to rotate, and wisps of Dao spread out from his body, slowly clearing away the death energy and resentment in the seawater and turning it into the essence of innate spiritual energy. It turns out that after the 5 Qi dynasty, there is still such a situation. Single quote. After condensing the 5 Qi in the body, it can be synchronized with the 5 elements of heaven and earth, and the negative power of heaven and earth can be tempered and turned into pure spiritual energy. This is also the case if a Tai golden immortal stays in one place for a long time. A small cave paradise will appear. Shen Fei is already in the East China Sea at this time. The East China Sea is wider than the North Sea and should be able to obtain many treasures. Suddenly, Shen Fei felt a familiar yet unfamiliar aura. Dragon King of the East China Sea. Single quote. A golden dragon similar to the Dragon King of North Sea appeared in front of Shen Fei. Fellow Taoist Guiyuan, you know me. Shen Fei was a little confused. Fourth brother has already sent me a message, telling us that if we meet fellow Taoist Guiyuan, we must treat each other with courtesy. The golden dragon transformed into a Taoist body similar to Guangzi's. Fellow Taoist Guiyuan, just call me Guang. Fellow Taoist Guang. Shen Fei also transformed into a Taoist body, which was regarded as a sign of respect. Why does the Dragon King know it's me? Ha ha ha. The stone tablet on fellow Taoist's back is the accompanying spiritual treasure of the ancestor of the Dragon clan. My fourth brother has already told us to give this treasure to fellow Taoist Guiyuan. I discovered it as soon as fellow Taoist appeared in the East China Sea. I see. I wonder what fellow Taoist Guiyuan needs from coming to the East China Sea. Our Dragon clan is quite powerful in the East China Sea. Come to hunt for treasure. It is said that the East China Sea is the richest among the 4 seas. As soon as Shen Fei finished speaking, he saw Guang showing a wry smile. Yes, the East China Sea is the richest, but it is precisely because of this that there are many monks. If there were countless spiritual treasures, they would have fallen into the hands of others. Unless it is caused by chance, there is a great innate formation that cannot be detected even by Dao Luo. Is that so? Shen Fei frowned slightly when he heard this. So his treasure hunt failed. But if fellow Taoists are willing, they can actually try it. I found a place that seems to be shrouded by an innate formation, but I have karma and no merit, so I have spent decades without any gains. Fellow Taoist followers are extraordinary and may gain something else. Quote. How embarrassing. A glimmer of light appeared in Guangda's hand, and he said with a smile, I can't get it, so why not give it to a Taoist friend and create a good relationship? Shen Fei took the spiritual light and put it into his mind, and a coordinate appeared naturally. Then thank you Taoist friend. It's easy to say. If you learn anything, you can come to the East China Sea Dragon Palace to talk about it and let me see it too. Of course. Then I'll take the first step. Good. After Shen Fei finished speaking, he turned into a giant turtle and swam towards the distance. At this time, at his message appeared in the chat group. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. At Giant Turtle, leader of the group, I am about to land on Poseidon Island. Can you please lend me the vast sea universe cover? I'm afraid that old Bo Saishi will kill me. Shen Fei sent the vast sea universe cover over. This thing was indeed considered an artifact in the hydrogen continent, but in the prehistoric times. It is about the same hardness as a pebble with the laws of water. Ancient Giant Turtle. I added a little bit of material to the vast sea universe cover. If there are no accidents, nothing will happen. If an accident occurs, I can save your life. Huo Wu will always be my goddess and received your red envelope. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. Group leader, I will always be your licking dog. You are so kind, I love you so much. Ancient giant turtle. Don't be poor, then I will start a live broadcast. Huo Wu will always be my goddess. At Little Chef of Peach Blossom Island at cook it for me. Come on, I'm going to start the assessment. I am Spider-Man. Coming. I solved the big rhinoceros today, so I am free. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef. Hey, that's the god, 100,000 catties. If you put it in Lu Shen's world, it would be a half step to the blood realm. If you put it in Thor's big world, even the god of war wouldn't be able to pass it. What are these gods for? Huo Wu will always be my goddess. I won't tell anyone who is jealous. Mei Mei will always be my goddess. Envy. Shen Fei entered the chat room, but this time there were not as many people as Shi Hao's last baptism. After all, everyone wants to take a look at the invincible Huang. As for the Poseidon assessment, except boring is boring. The first level assessment is actually climbing stairs. No matter how much pressure it adds, just climb the stairs. Meet the group leader. Huang Rong and others who came in quickly saluted Shen Fei at the front. No need to salute, we are all friends. Shen Fei shook his head, but it was quite interesting to see someone he was familiar with in his previous life saluting him. But it's not necessary often. What he pursues is not the supreme status. Here we go, Shen Fei said with a smile, and the others quickly sat down. Duluo World. Fang Xiaoshan landed on Poseidon Island and unlocked the black tortoise martial spirit. All the obvious scales and armor on his body faded away. With the black tortoise martial spirit, he did not encounter any difficulties at all in the deep sea. Some sea soul beasts felt his martial spirit and quietly retreated. Is this the power of a god-level martial spirit? Come to shore. Fang Xiaoshan relied on the description in the original work to ask Emperor Tiando to help him find the specific location of Poseidon Island and sail there. Without the vast sea universe cover, passing through the deep-sea demonic whale king's domain would not disturb it at all. The reason why Xiao Yasan and the others were alarmed was entirely because of the aura of the vast sea universe cover. Fang Xiaoshan landed on Poseidon Island, and at this time, figures appeared one after another. These are the soul masters who guard Poseidon Island. Single quote. He said in his heart, everyone, look at me showing off. Who is this person and why do you want to come to Poseidon Island? The middle-aged man in yellow, who was the leader, stamped the ground suddenly, and 2 yellow, 3 purple, and 1 black soul rings appeared on his body. Soul Emperor. Fang Xiaoshan was not frightened at all, and said with a smile, I heard that you can take the test to join Poseidon Island. Our assessment is not something that land soul masters can assess. Retreat quickly. Yeah, Fang Xiaoshan instantly used the black tortoise martial spirit, and his already extremely strong body began to swell, with tortoiseshell-like scales appearing on the surface of his skin. A dark scale appeared on both sides of the cheek. He also released 8 of his own soul rings in an instant. The unparalleled terrifying force was like a bullet exploding in an instant, spreading out in all directions. The waves behind him suddenly rolled, and an extremely huge turtle appeared in the void, roaring into the sky. The middle-aged man originally had a serious face, but suddenly he felt extremely terrifying pressure, as if he felt that there was an elder in front of him. Even more terrifying. Black, 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 red, 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 red. Of the 8 soul rings that erupted from the ground, the innermost ones were 10,000-year soul rings, and starting from the 5th one, they turned into a dazzling blood-red color. The middle-aged man in yellow swallowed. Fang Xiaoshan smiled and said, you are sweating profusely, brother. Which person came to my Poseidon Island to cause trouble? In an instant, figures one after another fell from all over Poseidon Island in front of Fang Xiaoshan. The leader, Sea Dragon Duluo, stared at Fang Xiaoshan and said coldly, but soon he also saw Fang Xiaoshan's 8 soul rings. His eyes were suddenly filled with surprise. 100,000-year soul rings. There are so many. Seahorse Duluo murmured, these are 400,000-year soul rings, and who can absorb 100,000 years from the 5th soul ring? Junior Fang Xiaoshan, I heard that Poseidon Island can apply for assessment. Fang Xiaoshan looked at Sea Dragon Duluo, the first Duluo under Bo Saishi. Sea Dragon Duluo was about to say something else, when a hum like the whimpering of the sea sounded from Poseidon Island. Everyone on Poseidon Island heard the buzzing sound. Immediately afterwards, a huge bloody light pillar rose into the sky. The changes were not over yet, the entire Poseidon island began to tremble. Immediately afterwards, the same 6 huge bloody light pillars rose into the sky. 7 beams of light converged at one point in the air, and an extremely brilliant golden light was born from the blood. The moment it appeared, the entire Poseidon island was completely rendered golden. But there is only one endpoint for this golden light, which is Fang Shaoshan, who is standing on the beach releasing his martial spirit. The golden light faded in all directions. The place where all the golden light finally converged turned into a golden trident mark between Fang Shaoshan's eyebrows. At this time, a graceful figure in a red robe fell down and looked at Fang Shaoshan. "Tell me your origin, young man." Terrifying coercion suddenly fell on Fang Shaoshan. Fang Shaoshan knew that if he didn't come up with an explanation, I'm afraid that the great priest would have doubts about his origins. After all, he is not the little Yakuza, but the great-grandson of her old friend. At this time, the vast sea universe shield came into effect. Fang Shaoshan took out the vast sea universe shield. "It guided me here." Bo Saishi took a look at the vast sea universe shield. Others only thought it was a soul guide, but she served the Poseidon. You can see the power of Poseidon contained in it at a glance. "Child, were you guided here by it?" "Yeah," Fang Shaoshan nodded. "I can't say that I know the original work." Single quote, comma. In the chat room, Shen Fei saw that the Poseidon test that he had just sensed the martial spirit of the black tortoise had such a big reaction. It seems that the quality of the ancient black turtle martial spirit is probably above that of the god-level martial spirit. "Why are you so licking during the Poseidon test? Didn't you say that you have to touch the seahorse holy pillar to trigger the test?" Huang Rong saw the trident mark between Fang Shaoshan's eyebrows. Unexpectedly, Fang Shaoshan triggered the Poseidon assessment without even touching the seahorse holy pillar. Sure enough, the group leader is still awesome. After feeling the martial spirit given to Fang Shaoshan by the leader of the group, he found the inheritance of God that others had worked so hard to find. Like a licking dog running away. My first test is also climbing stairs, and it also has double Poseidon's light. During the live broadcast, Fang Shaoshan had arrived at the room where the VIPs lived. When Fang Shaoshan was left alone, he was talking in the chat group. "It's simple. With the 100,000-year-old soul bones in your body, the skills contained in the soul bones, and the amplification skills of the soul ring, you can reach the top in one day. And those pressures can help you absorb my power." Quote. Shen Fei said. Fang Shaoshan nodded secretly. As for whether it would be too ostentatious, his own martial soul and 16 soul rings are already very impressive. How about being more showy? He only had half a year. If he hadn't gone back when Huo Wu faced Xiao Jiao-san, Huo Wu's first kiss would be gone, and he would be even more heartbroken. This speed is just right. After passing the Poseidon test, you can almost reach the ultimate Duluo level, or you can become a god directly. Thank you to the group leader for cultivating me. It doesn't matter. Then bring me all the artifacts from the Duluo world to study them. Shen Fei mainly wanted to study the artifacts from that world. There is only a little bit of the law of water in the vast sea universe cover. If it is the Poseidon trident, it represents the ocean of the hydrogen continent. He mainly wants to see how the laws of water in other worlds are different from those in the prehistoric world. That's natural. Soon, the live broadcast started to fast forward. This chat group was quite user-friendly. At least Shen Fei, the group leader, had the fast-forward function to adjust the observation target. Otherwise, we have to wait for Fang Shaoshan's words under time synchronization. Don't know when to wait. Fang Shaoshan didn't sleep either. He just wanted to complete the Poseidon exam as soon as possible and obtain the Poseidon title. You guys think, if I become Poseidon, will Huo Wuden like me? Fang Shaoshan is now ready to go to Poseidon's light. His voice echoed in the chat room. The god of thunder, who had just come in with nothing to do, hugged his chest and said, "You really lick." After you become Poseidon, if you say you like Huo Wu, even if she doesn't like you, her father will tie up Huo Wu and send her to your bed in the middle of the night. Quote. Group leader, I have mastered the Thunder Emperor Fist, and Brother Hong has also mastered the Water Master Fist. It is really powerful. Lei Shen chuckled. He recalled the moment when he learned the Thunder Emperor Fist. Fortunately, he and Hong did a combo overseas, with one punch. It really attracted the thunder from the sky. As he punched out, the entire ocean was turned upside down, and a large amount of seawater was instantly evaporated by the thunder. If Hong hadn't told him to calm down, he would have wanted to kill all the beast kings. Good understanding. Shen Fei nodded. How is Luo Feng doing now? He chose to join the Thunder and Lightning Martial Arts School this time, ha ha ha, because I personally drafted Luo Feng's contract this time, which is much better than the Extreme Martial Arts School. This guy learned my 9-level Thunder Sword and actually wants to join the Extreme Martial Arts School. Mainly because he wanted to try to change the trajectory of his destiny, but it seemed to have failed. Quote. Thor touched the back of his head, which was somewhat bare. Shen Fei raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Doesn't this change the trajectory of his destiny? Or does it require drastic changes? Let's not talk about it for now. Let's see how this guy shows off. Feng Xiaoshan, who was in the live broadcast, had arrived at Poseidon's light, and the rest of the people who were still chatting now began to look at the live broadcast. Duluo World. Feng Xiaoshan took a deep breath, looked at Bo Saishi next to him and said, "Can I go now?" Bo Saishi nodded, looking at Feng Xiaoshan's back. She didn't expect that Feng Xiaoshan was actually a Contra, and also had twin martial souls. The soul rings are all 4 black and 4 red. I'm afraid this guy has a huge chance, and this guy is lying. The Poseidon's divine power in Poseidon's heart has not been activated at all. In other words, his purpose is to get the Poseidon test. In just one day, Bo Saishi thought about many things. First of all, this kind of soul ring configuration is impossible for normal soul masters to obtain, but there is another method, which is the God-given soul ring. The God-given soul ring can increase the soul master's soul ring to its own capacity limit. That is to say, this Feng Xiaoshan is likely to have the inheritance of another god. But Feng Xiaoshan triggered the 9th Poseidon examination as soon as he set foot on Poseidon Island. The assessor who inspired the 9th Poseidon examination has a status equal to that of the Great Enshrinement on Poseidon Island, or even half a level higher. Even she couldn't stop Feng Xiaoshan from taking the assessment. No matter what conspiracy you have, in front of Lord Poseidon, everything will be in vain. Single quote. Feng Xiaoshan stepped onto the Poseidon's light, and in an instant there was a rebound force that tried to push him down, but his body had been strengthened by black turtle particles, plus all the soul bones in his body. If there really is a fight, no titled Duluo is his opponent. In just 1.5 years, his strength has directly grown into the top 3 ultimate Duluo in the mainland, if not at sea. When he grew into a Contra, he tried his hand at the so-called Hoshin Duluo. All this was given to him by the great group leader, which not only allowed him to get rid of his status as a licking dog, but also allowed him to master such powerful power. Praise the great group leader. Everyone in the chat room listened to Feng Xiaoshan's licking speech. The god of thunder covered his face. This Feng Xiaoshan's dog licking ability is really good. He can actually say this so naturally, and he doesn't feel awkward. I have to learn from him. The double-faced turtle looked at Feng Xiaoshan, his turtle eyes shining with brilliance. It seemed that he wanted to learn from this senior. The leader of the group was his ancestor, but he did not have the same treatment as Feng Xiaoshan. Boom! Feng Xiaoshan stepped forward violently, without even using his martial spirit. He relied on his physical strength to rush towards the Poseidon stairs. 10th level, 20th level, 30th level. In an instant, he rushed up to the 50 level, and then Feng Xiaoshan's speed began to slow down. Bo Saixi's eyes, which were still thinking, widened when he saw Feng Xiaoshan cross 50 steps in an instant. What power is this? But Feng Xiaoshan is only a little slower. The terrifying power provided by the black turtle particles, these rebounds are nothing. If Feng Xiaoshan can completely absorb the black turtle particles, it will not be a problem to smash this ladder with one punch. It wasn't until the 80th level that Feng Xiaogong stopped. Have you reached the limit? The first time you pass it is 80 steps. Is there really someone behind it? Bo Saishi looked at Feng Xiaoshan, who stopped and said to himself. But the next second, the ancient black turtle martial spirit appeared, revealing its soul ring that could shock the world. The pace that was originally stagnant continued to explode in an instant, even faster. In Bo Saixi's horrified eyes, Feng Xiaoshan stepped up 100 steps without stopping, as if the obstruction of Poseidon's light was like air. Feng Xiaoshan looked as relaxed as if he was running. 1 in 840 million from the group leader is so awesome. Fang Xiaoshan felt that the great resistance that had originally existed disappeared in an instant when the martial spirit appeared, and he laughed wildly in his heart. What bullshit, Poseidon, sheer a god. Can it be compared to the group leader? The time of the elite competition was changed. After all, Fang Xiaoshan had to take the place. It's a bit too much to get so many things done in half a year. Add another year. Bo Saishi stared blankly at Fang Xiaoshan, who had already walked up the 33rd step, and even rubbed his eyes in disbelief. You're going up now. Bo Saishi watched as the golden trident on Fang Xiaoshan's forehead burst into brilliant light, spreading down from Fang Xiaoshan's forehead like silk and flowing to his whole body. Fang Xiaoshan opened his eyes and shook his neck. Suddenly, his fourth black soul ring suddenly flashed a scarlet light, and Fang Xiaoshan glanced at it. The black soul ring instantly turned into blood red. This has happened before, and the energy flowing out from the mark between the eyebrows was instantly absorbed by the body. Moreover, the pressure just now caused the power hidden in Fang Xiaoshan's body to continue to emerge a little. Yes, but not much. Just enough. The fourth soul rings of his two martial souls all turned blood red. When Bo Saishi saw Fang Xiaoshan's changing soul ring, a look of unknown meaning flashed across her eyes. Group leader, that thing just said that I passed the test and was rewarded with 5% affinity. That's not right. The little fool has been using it for so long. Is it 5%? I'm so fast and it's 5%. Quote. Fang Xiaoshan's voice sounded in the chat room. Shen Fei said calmly, that's enough, and this thing actually just lets you pick up the Poseidon trident. Then I will continue the second test. Hurry up. I feel like you should be able to complete the Poseidon assessment within 3 days today. But it's very likely that you will be targeted by Poseidon. The worst thing is that I don't need the Poseidon. I remember that the 7th test is to pick up the Poseidon trident. I will send it directly to the group leader when the time comes. Just run away. Quote. Fang Xiaoshan said nonchalantly. To be honest, when he felt the power in his body, the Poseidon was of no use. Holding the group leader's thigh tightly was his chance to take off. That woman is here. By the way, do you want this woman? If so, can I find a way to send her there? Roll. Okay. Huang Rong spat. This guy, doesn't he know that the group leader is a turtle? And with such a big turtle, how big does the group leader's wife need to be? Shen Fei glanced at Huang Rong and told Huang Rong to take 2 steps back quickly. Group leader, I'm just kidding. Duluo world. Fang Xiaoshan jumped down from the stairs and landed in the water. The second black soul ring of the ancient black turtle lit up. He walked on the water in an instant and came to the edge of the ring sea. Honor, I passed. Want to take a break? No need, just do the second one. Don't use release martial soul or any martial soul skills to cross the ring sea. Fang Xiaoshan said with a smile. Do you have a soul bone? Nature. Fang Xiaoshan walked towards the ring sea without saying a word and walked directly into the ring sea. The next second, blood-red power burst out from the body surface, and suddenly a giant turtle appeared in the wound of the entire ring sea, roaring into the sky. The terrifying sound wave swept away the entire ring sea in an instant. Swordfish floated on the water, and even a great white shark more than 20 meters long also floated on the water. At the same time, a road was vacated on the water surface. Let Fang Xiaoshan walk over. Such a terrifying soul skill. This soul bone looks like a complete set. The level of this turtle martial soul makes even my Poseidon martial soul tremble crazily in front of me. What level of martial spirit is this turtle? Which god is behind Fang Xiaoshan? Quote. Bo Saishi took a deep breath, and at this time Fang Xiaoshan had already walked across the ring sea. Let's begin, the third test. Golden light flowed all over Fang Xiaoshan's body again, and Bo Saishi no longer knew what to say. If the person behind Fang Xiaoshan really had any intention towards Lord Poseidon. But what level is the spirit that exists behind it? Inside the chat room, you guys stay here and watch. I have something to take care of. If anything happens, just call me. Shen Fei sensed that the outside world had reached the sea area where the Dragon King of the East China Sea was. After leaving a word, he disappeared. After Shen Fei returned his attention to the outside world, he found that his figure wandering in the East China Sea was slightly blocked. Looks like we've arrived. Single quote. Shen Fei turned into a Taoist body and stepped into the water. The surrounding sea was empty, there were no islands in sight and there were no huge waves. Is this the strange thing that the Dragon King said? Shen Fei raised his eyebrows. It was indeed very strange. Due to the characteristics of the East China Sea, it is unlikely that such a place would appear. If something goes wrong, there must be a monster. There is indeed a mystery here. Just when Shen Fei was about to think about it, his eyes suddenly looked to the southeast, and several spiritual lights were flying towards this direction. It seemed that each breath and 5 elements were flowing, and they were all in the realm of Tai Golden Immortal. Although today's prehistoric times, Tai is still inferior to a dog, and Deluo is everywhere. But the prehistoric era is so big, and it's spread out, so it doesn't mean that you can easily encounter Deluo. The auras of these figures dissipated, revealing their bodies. Shen Fei glanced at them. The karma is not shallow, the merits are lacking, and the breath is mixed. Sanxian. When these people saw Shen Fei, they were startled at first. Then they felt the aura of the 5 elements flowing on their body, and then calmed down. The leading male immortal bowed his hands towards Shen Fei and saluted. I am Xiaoyang, from Penglai Immortal Mansion. Yes, a person under the throne of Duke Dong. Prince Dong. It turned out to be this short-lived ghost. I discovered this place first. You all should leave. Fellow Taoist, this area is under the control of our Penglai Immortal Mansion. It should be under our control, and I have discovered this place a long time ago. It's just that I went back to let the fellow Taoists who broke the formation come to help. Xiaoyang said, this place was given to me by the Dragon King of the East China Sea. Even if it is discussed, he discovered it first. Shen Fei didn't want to commit murder. If he committed too many murders, he would be punished at the time of calamity. Xiaoyang continued. Our immortal master, Prince Dong, is about to finish his sermon and return to the wild world. The opportunity in this innate formation is our congratulatory gift to Prince Dong. Fellow Taoists, do you know that Duke Dongwang is innately divine and in the realm of Deluo? Prince Dong is suppressing me. I'll kill you all with a brick. The next second, the Xuanzang monument appeared in Shen Fei's hand and he threw it away. The Xuanzang monument in the air suddenly rose up against the wind, and the terrifying and boundless pressure suddenly burst out. The East China Sea shook, the void shook, and 4 ancient giant turtles appeared in the sky. The terrifying and boundless power makes yin and yang tremble, and the 5 elements collapse. When Xiaoyang, the leader, saw this giant tortoise, his spirit was shaken and his mind was frightened. He shouted, Great Immortal Turtle, our immortal master is Duke Dongwang. This time I was wrong. I also ask the Great Immortal to give the Immortal Master some face, and we will leave now. Quote. Give Prince Dong some face. Does he deserve it? Before he died, he was still using the name of Prince Dong. It seems you have done a lot of this kind of thing in the past. I just want to ask, does the Prince of the East have such great face? Let the whole East China Sea give him face. Quote. Shen Fei sneered. No wonder Dongwangdong sent it so quickly. He has extraordinary heels and wouldn't die so soon. It seems there is some reason. This Sanxian alliance is full of mixed behaviors and karma. If there is no inheritance, one likes to take things by force. This is understandable and can be regarded as a struggle. But everything comes out of Dongwangdong, not his own strength. I am afraid that all the immortals in Penglai Immortal Mansion are accustomed to this, and the consequences will be borne by Duke Dong. Good guy, Duke Dong, who will die if you don't die? Next moment, just like a huge monument on an island crashing down, the explosion provided by the giant turtle particles, a giant turtle even when it was just born can compete with Deluo, and now there are 4 giant turtle particles. Even if these Tai Golden Immortals continue to use their magic, they are under the terrifying power carried by the Xuanzang monument. In an instant, the immortal bodies of the Tai Golden Immortals were shattered, and their souls were destroyed. There was no hair left. Boring. With a trace of karma wrapped around him, Shen Fei shook his head and continued to look at the strange place he had just sensed. As for forming a karmic relationship with the Eastern Prince, after this short-lived ghost became the Lord of Penglai and the Lord of Sanxian, these messy Sanxian cultivators continued to add karma and cause and effect to him. It is normal for him to die in a catastrophe. No wonder Zhao also declined after that, there were too many messy things. This was just a small episode. Shen Fei looked at the innate formation that had some traces of it due to the vibration of his boundless power. He didn't expect a coincidence. If it weren't for those Tai golden immortals, it would really be difficult for this island to manifest. Their deaths can be regarded as meritorious deeds. It's a pity that I don't understand the formation. In that case, the Xuanzhong monument appeared in Shen Fei's hand. The heavy hand felt very good. Eat a brick from me. Under the infusion of mana, the Xuanzhong monument swelled in the wind. The boundless and terrifying weight coupled with Shen Fei's strength instantly hit the revealed innate formation. Boom. Single quote. A huge roar sounded, and the innate formation began to vibrate under this terrifying force. The formation patterns flickered and teetered, and Shen Fei frowned. There are two ways to break the formation. One is to master the formation, gradually break through the understanding of the formation, and finally master the movement of the formation. The other is to break through with brute force like Shen Fei. Simple, direct and brutal. And most of them are cracked in this way. After all, not everyone practices the formation. Unless you are lucky and lucky, you can walk into the formation at will. However, brute force cracking requires strength. If you master the formation, you don't need to be that high to crack it. Not yet. The next second, the real body emerged, the boundless giant turtle carrying a huge monument. Eat me and hit me. In an instant, it was as if a continent was slamming into the innate formation, making a muffled sound that was even more terrifying than before, and the innate formation began to shake crazily. This innate formation protects against ordinary people quite well. But Shen Fei, this collision directly made the innate formation unable to withstand it, and huge waves surged in the originally calm sea around it. Click. With a slight cracking sound, countless cracks began to appear in the huge innate formation. In an instant, the place where Shen Fei hit turned into countless fragments, and the heaven and earth Daoyun completely exploded. A huge gap appeared in front of Shen Fei. The Taoist body appeared, and Shen Fei immediately turned into a spiritual light and rushed in. In an instant, the Taoist rhyme of heaven and earth began to interweave and reformed into formations to make up for the huge gap that Shen Fei had knocked out. In an instant, an island suddenly appeared in front of Shen Fei's eyes. From the appearance, it looked like a floating turtle shell, which was a little smaller than Shen Fei's small body. The vast chaotic spiritual energy continued to wander from the sky above the island like clouds. The moment I saw this island, a real name emerged in Shen Fei's mind. Janal Island. Single quote. We came to the wrong place. Is this Janal Island, the future holy land of Jejiao? Shen Fei couldn't help but curse out loud. Good guy, he was destined to be with Jejiao even though he was reincarnated, right? He finally got the chance to come to Donghai, and now he is here. Coming to Janal Island, since it can be the place where Master Tongtian establishes his sect after the separation of the three purities in the future, it must be the top cave heaven paradise in the world, and it must be much better than the Shankara that Shen Fei built casually at the beginning. Shen Fei's soul swept through the entire Janal Island in an instant. Except for the center, there was a large closed formation that he needed to go to in person. All kinds of spiritual roots were already in short supply in the ancient times. There was also the chaotic aura that filled the entire island and was blocked by the innate formation. Moreover, the cave heaven paradise also has the benefit of nourishing luck. If you spread your Dao charm across the island, the two will be connected and can complement each other. Otherwise, why would those big forces have to find a base? Shen Fei's expression was gloomy and uncertain. To be honest, Janal Island was also destined to him. First of all, calling him this name showed that he was destined to him. This place is destined for me. Shen Fei's eyes flickered. To be honest, if he read the novel, he still liked Tongtian, but in the novel, his limbs were chopped off by Tongtian. Even if he is accepted as a disciple after reincarnation, he will repay the cause and effect. That's no use. Fate has its own depth. Since you, Tongtian, are now going to Zishao Palace to get the Holy Throne, then I shouldn't go too far in taking this Janal Island. Shen Fei landed on the island and felt the chaotic aura flowing out all the time. He wants to decide on this place. But what about Beihai? Shen Fei suddenly thought about this problem again. He was born from the North Sea, and he was considered to be the innate sacredness of the North Sea. He had the luck of the North Sea. Originally, he planned to come to the East China Sea to plunder and then leave. Who knew that I would encounter Janal Island? But if you stay in the East China Sea, it will become a place of right and wrong again in the future. No, I can't move Janal Island. As soon as the idea came up, Shen Fei couldn't stop it. He didn't say that Ling Dao couldn't be moved. Shen Fei thought for a while, if it was before, he might not be able to move, but now with the power of 5 ancient giant turtles, he can still move Janal Island. But you need to cut off the connection between the island and the earth first. Otherwise, it will involve other earth veins and cause the earth veins to break, and the karma will be huge. And he wants to solve it as soon as possible. He only has 3,000 years. At this time, Tongtian, who is destined to Janal Island, is in the Zishao Palace and cannot calculate the secret of heaven. While Shen Fei was thinking about how to complete his big plan, he came to the center of Janal Island. It just blocked the center of his soul's power. It is also the core place of Janal Island. There was a large lake in the center. Shen Fei looked at the large lake enveloped by the innate formation and smiled slightly. He took out the Xuanzang monument in his hand. This thing was really handy. In an instant, he slammed into the formation. This great formation was not as powerful as the great formation outside. In an instant, the great formation shattered and turned into a rime of heaven and earth that dissipated around. When Shen Fei entered the bottom of the lake, he saw that the core spiritual vein of Janal Island was connected to a huge carapace. On the carapace, there are 3 words engraved with the innate Taoist script. Golden Aogia. Another A. After Shen Fei appeared, the golden turtle armor shone slightly and spontaneously fell into his hand. Sure enough, this thing is indeed destined for me. At the moment of contact, all kinds of information kept popping up in his mind. After digesting it in an instant, even Shen Fei was full of surprise at the moment. I've been told that this place is destined for me. Most overseas fairy islands are formed by the intertwining of chaos fragments and heavenly aura, so there is chaotic aura. And this Janal Island is no exception, but when the chaos fragments fell, they were actually mixed with the tortoise shell of the chaos god demon Janal. Under its remaining Taoist rhyme, Janal Island was formed. The ultimate innate spiritual treasure, Golden Aogia. 2 top quality innate spiritual treasures of defensive type. It's the thickest armor in the world. It feels good to put it on for a while, and it feels good to keep it on. Shen Fei looked at the 42 innate restrictions flashing on Jin Aogia. In terms of quality, there are 2 more than his prehistoric tortoise shells. Shen Fei sat cross-legged on the spiritual veins, and Yuenshin found out and began to refine the spiritual veins here, and dived into the ground to cut off the connection between Janal Island and the East China Sea. Since this is a fragment of chaos intertwined with the ancient way of heaven, that means it was not originally born directly from the ancient world. It's just that the 2 breaths have been entangled for such a long time, and they have become one. But if it looks like one body, it means it is not one body. It can be dismantled as long as it takes a little time. Not only that, Shen Fei also separated the golden turtle armor that he refined with his mind. This refining speed is faster than the Dinghai Divine Pearl and Xuanzang Monument. And at the same time, a steady stream of insights entered Shen Fei's mind. Laws of defense. Yes, it is the defense law that Shen Fei is most familiar with, and it is purer than what he has understood. Even in his mind, an infinite turtle will suddenly flash around in the chaos. Understand the laws and breathe in the energy of chaos. Yes, it was the chaotic energy that had not been tempered, was extremely violent, and assimilated all things, but after being inhaled by the giant turtle, it was directly refined. The energy of chaos brushed against Jinao's body and was naturally pushed away by the force. Jinao. 3,000 gods and demons were born with the 3,000 avenues, and this golden owl was born with the avenue of defense. Chaos gods and demons were born. It can be said that among chaos, defense comes first. But under Pangu and Pangu's axe, still directly cool, the tortoise shells turned into Janal Island. Originally, it should be said that this is at least the innate treasure, or even the level of the chaos spiritual treasure. After all, it is the chaos carrier of the defensive avenue. It is a pity that the origin was severely damaged by Pangu's axe. In addition, during the prehistoric times, it was intertwined with the laws of heaven for such a long time, and part of the origin was transformed into Janal Island. The last remaining turtle shell and origin turned into the golden owl jaw. But it's satisfying. Shen Fei's eyes kept flashing with Taoist charm, and the aura kept blooming in his mind. You have observed the chaos golden owl that once existed in chaos. The defense laws continue to thrive in your body, and the charm of the chaos golden owl continues to emerge before your eyes. The next stage of the giant tortoise is the chaos golden owl, which has the ultimate defense. 1 grain is a golden owl. You have observed the process of the chaos golden owl swallowing the energy of chaos, and you are trying to directly swallow the energy of chaos. You have not accumulated enough. The Taoist rhyme in Shen Fei's eyes flickered. With the help of the remaining Taoist rhyme of the chaos golden owl inside the golden Aogia, he deduced the third level of change of the divine turtle Junhai Jing, which is the golden owl particle. The black turtle is young, the giant turtle is green, and the golden turtle is strong. Shen Fei opened his eyes and felt that the remaining earth veins still needed to be connected. It seemed that it would take some time. Fire dance will always be my goddess. At Great Turtle of the ancient world, the leader of the group, I have reached the 6th Poseidon exam, and I said that I want to pick up the Poseidon trident. Do you think I will send it to you immediately after picking it up, or will it be sent to you immediately? You said you'd wait for me to go to sea first. Shen Fei entered the chat room mentally and found that there were more people than before. Shen Fei sat at the front and watched the live broadcast. There was a long black stick erected in the center of the Poseidon in front of Feng Xiaoshan. When Feng Xiaoshan and Bo Saishi fought before, it was so funny. She probably couldn't imagine why Feng Xiaoshan suddenly became a titled Duluo, but the Poseidon rules can no longer be changed. Titled Duluo Feng Xiaoshan only used one of his soul skills, and even Bo Saishi couldn't break the defense while standing there. Quote, Huang Rong had nothing to do all day on Peach Blossom Island. Apart from practicing, she came to the chat room to watch Feng Xiaoshan take the assessment. She, the two-faced turtle and Peter were probably most familiar with Feng Xiaoshan's assessment, and the others had things to do from time to time. Tide Duluo, what title does he plan to give himself? Shen Fei raised his eyebrows. He said his name is Black Turtle Duluo. Isn't he a twin martial spirit? Why is he called Black Turtle Duluo? Lei Shen watched the live broadcast. He was quite free. In addition to observing Luo Feng's growth, he and Hong went out to practice the combined punch technique from time to time. Water Lord Thunder Emperor Fist. He had seen Tang San Continent and knew the concept of martial spirits. He said that the leader of the group greatly changed his life, and that the ancient Black Turtle martial spirit also allowed him to successfully obtain the position of Poseidon, so he is called Black Turtle Duluo. Isn't his grandpa mad to death? Peter asked with some confusion. Well, it seems that any title is of no use. He will definitely become a god in the end, and they will call him Poseidon by then. Thor smiled. Huang Rong waved her finger. No, you don't understand how much Feng Xiaoshan licks. He said that from now on, the sea god's position will be called the giant turtle god's servant, and those who want to inherit his position must first be the turtle martial spirit. People who are so calm like Zhang Sanfang can't help but marvel. It seems that Feng Xiaoyu has become more proficient in this matter. Don't be poor, just pull it out first. Okay. Duluo World. Feng Xiaoshan looked at the fire stick-like pole in front of him. If he hadn't read the original work, he wouldn't have known that this thing was the Poseidon trident. Even the artifacts are so rubbish, no wonder this god is so rubbish. Under the watchful eyes of Bo Saishi and the Seven Lords, Feng Xiaoshan walked onto the Poseidon platform and grabbed the pole. Do you think he can pull out the Poseidon trident? Seahorse Duluo lightly bumped into the sea witch next to him. Sea girl Duluo rolled her eyes at him. What do you think? You were not beaten badly enough by him before, right? Who knows what is going on with this guy? He only has 8 soul rings, 6 of which are 100,000-year soul rings, plus his who knows what martial soul. I almost can't use my martial spirit anymore. Quote, Seahorse Duluo smiled bitterly. Even the great worshipper can't break through his defense. Do you think there is something behind him? Seahorse Duluo was still about to speak. Sea Dragon Duluo, who was standing at the front, said coldly, quiet. Seahorse Duluo quickly shut his mouth, while Bo Saishi at the front watched quietly as Feng Xiaoshan began to exert force, and golden lines began to spread from Feng Xiaoshan's hand to the Poseidon trident. See who is trying to steal Lord Poseidon's power. Single quote. Inside the chat room. Why hasn't the vast sea universe barrier appeared yet? Didn't the vast sea universe barrier help Xiaoza-san in the original novel? Huang Rong frowned and looked at Feng Xiaoshan's already ferocious face. The Poseidon there is not dead yet. Now that Feng Xiaoshan has touched the Poseidon trident, I am afraid that the Poseidon has already paid attention to that place. I'm afraid he also saw something strange about Feng Xiaoshan. I want to test who is behind him. Quote. Shen Fei said lightly, even Bo Saishi could find the strangeness in Feng Xiaoshan, let alone Poseidon. In the end, this guy was even watching Tang San break through the level on live broadcast, and he was also able to manipulate the angel's inheritance. There must be some manipulation now. Feng Xiaoshan, inspire your martial spirit avatar and read after me. Good. Buzz, Moo. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.